All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the new and improved, well, used to be a certain title we won't say, but now we're changing things up. Navigating modern dating. We've got a new panel of ladies, some new, some return guests. If you've seen us on other channels before, gonna have a great time tonight. I've got my co-hosts Spencer and TC with us tonight. So just giving you guys a little bit of a intro, what's going to happen. My role here tonight is going to be about hanging out, keeping the conversation on track, keeping the train on the tracks. Spence and TC are going to kind of be my guys in the trenches with our gorgeous panel of ladies here. So, ladies, just like we did behind the virtual stage, if you just want to go around the horn and say your name, where you're from, what you do, your age, and your relationship status. So we'll just go in the same order here to make it easy for everybody. Aaron, let's kick it off with you. We got no audio now.
No, we
out
lost
of you.
audio.
We're back. We lost audio again. While she's getting that fixed up, let's go over to Kara.
Hi, everyone. My name's Kara. I'm from Kansas. I'm 31. I work in sales. I also do content. I'm an OF model, and I'm single.
Okay. Next is Caroline.
Hi guys, my name is Caroline. I'm from New Jersey. I'm 26 years old. I'm single and I work in sales for pest control.
Aaron, you want to try again? See if we got you back.
Yeah, is this any better?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Sorry about that.
You're good. Go right ahead.
Okay, I'm Erin. I am 36 years old. I live in Utah, and I work in a spa as an esthetician.
Perfect. Jackie, on to you.
I am Jacqueline, and I'm 30 years old from Southern California. I am a clinical hypnotherapist, and I have been in a relationship for 3 years.
Francesca?
Hi, I'm Francesca. I'm from the UK. I'm 42 years old. I'm a model, content creator. I'm in the wedding industry, and I'm married.
What about Meg? No, you're muted you're muted, Meg.
Oops, sorry about that.
You're good.
My name is Megan. I'm 33. I am from Florida, and right now I just graduated esthetician school. I'll be doing that soon, and I'm single.
And Kim, round us off.
My name is Kimberly. I live in Toronto, and I am in direct sales, and I own a Yoni Steve studio.
And you said you were single, correct? I don't know if I caught that or not. Okay, cool.
I am single.
Excellent. Ladies, well, welcome. Guys, what we did behind the show as well as I had the ladies tell me their dating hot take as well as a red flag and a green flag that might have to kind of steer the conversation a little bit. So I want to start with Kim because you were the last one to go, but also you said something that I think is kind of a popular sentiment among a lot of women, but I don't know if women understand when they say this, what the implications actually are. So we drilled it down to men need to be men again. You're tired of being the man in a relationship. You want to go back to like the 1920s or the 1930s. Can you just expand on that and kind of kick us off for that topic of the show?
Yeah, well, I'm in a male dominant business, so I see the behind the scene, how men actually act when the girlfriend's not around, or like the partner's not around. I've dated men in the past where I had to wear the pants in the relationship, and that was just like not appealing. And it is like a hot trend now. Men want to be like having princess treatment. Like I was talking to this individual, and he's like, "Listen, I'm not chasing, like I'm not running away." So I don't get this stigma of like, oh, first bill has to be like splitting 50-50, a prenup. They just like think that we're in it to like steal something massive when like they have like nothing. I'm like, I make 10 times more than you, but somehow you think like I'm coming after your money. Telling my partners that they have to like switch the internet or fix our cable or like throw the garbage out. I don't have time or the patience. Like if I have to tell them what to do, I would just like change the lockers and part ways.
Is this something you've actually
By the
seen?
way, Spence.
This is something
we got
that
no
I've
audio.
So,
experienced.
like this, I see this a lot online, right? Like women are like, "Oh, men want princess treatment," but like I've never met any men that are
I
like,
have
oh, I
never
want to
met
be
a man that
pampered.
does not want princess treatment. Like, I just would
So
love
what
to
does that
experience it.
mean? Princess treatment.
Princess treatment, that you cook clean for them, take care of them, surprise them with gifts, surprise them with like planning dates out. They don't want to open doors, they don't want to gift flowers, just like bare minimum, and they think it like it's something massive when it's literally nothing.
So I get they want you to cook and clean.
100%.
I don't get they want you to plan dates.
Yeah.
So is it like they want you to plan dates, or are
Plan
these
dates.
like guys that aren't that interested that just don't want to plan dates themselves? Like they
No,
just
they-
want you to come over or something.
No, not
Because I
really.
think that's two
because
different types of guys, right?
I haven't seen someone that's not. It's just because like they think there's like a lot of options out there. Because again, like there's a lot of good-looking women, but like if you want, and I'm a huge believer. Like I'm a religious individual. Like I'm the missing grip. Like you need me, I don't need you. Like I'm your portal into the other world, like to success. Like I can elevate a man. I can like 10x whatever profit he has. But I'm like, I don't really have to like try or like win you. They just like think, oh, like I can swipe or I can like slide into this woman's DM and she'll be like in my bed the next day, when like I'm not gonna be in your bed. So.
I think this might be more of guys that like they're not that into you, right? They're like they could take it or leave it. So they're like, I'm not going to do all this and all that. Yeah, because I don't see this myself with guys, right? Where guys are like, oh, I want her to figure out where
How
we're
old are
going
you?
to.
I'm gonna
33.
hop
Yeah,
to
Caroline.
Kim's defense here for a second, because I was seeing a guy that at one point very early into the relationship told me that he wanted to be a stay-at-home dad and that I should be the one to go to work.
Yeah. I had the same. I had an individual told me, I would like to stay at home, take care of the kids, cook and clean for you, and you go and you build the empire.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you
Weird.
talking about? And this is 5 years ago. Until this day, he still thinks that he has a shot somehow.
So what? He's in the friend zone.
But Kim, you're
Or the not,
you're
the not
the,
friend
like,
friend zone.
if you make all this money, right? If you're doing high ticket sales and you run businesses and that sort of thing, like that's not the most far fetched thing in the world to think, like, right? Like, otherwise, why do it? So, I mean, you want a guy that makes more money than you, like 10 times more money than you do. Like, how big is your pool of available men if you want a guy that makes more money than you?
Very little, but at the same time, like I'm not gonna be going out working with men dealing with that, because I get hit on every single day from like my customers or my colleagues. Like, you as a man, you're supposed to be like, no, I can take care of you and you can actually stay at home or do whatever you want to. Like, I want to work out of like luxury, not like I have to hustle because you're gonna cook and clean. I can hire someone for that. Or like roll up your sleeves and like show me, like, how can I come home and be like, babe, I have a work problem, and I'm gonna listen to you and gonna take your advice and go out there and do it when you can't walk the walk. So I can't.
Yeah, I
I'm not
think you're
gonna
going to have
respect
this
you.
problem. So in my experience, really successful guys, like guys that just get it and get shit done, they're looking for like one of two things usually. Either they want a woman that's very traditional and they want to have a family and a bunch of children, or they want to like take the yacht out and just have a bunch of girlfriends, right?
Yeah.
Nothing serious.
Yeah.
So it's like the guys who have it together, who just get it, right? Like that are making money, that are able to be just the man. They're not like wanting a woman that also has all this stuff going on. They're wanting a woman that's like, yeah, let me just stay home and raise your kids while you go crush it. Or they're not interested in dating. They're interested in having like a bunch of girlfriends and nothing serious, right?
Very true, but like for the individual that wants a stay-at-home mom, I have a very hard time believing that they would not switch on you one day. Or like they're gonna go for someone younger
Switch
or
how?
like hotter.
Oh,
because
they're gonna leave you
they're
for
gonna, like,
someone younger.
they're gonna leave you for someone, or like gonna cheat on you because she's at home taking care of the kids. So as a woman, I always have to
Yeah,
have
you just gotta hope he does it
hope.
quietly, right?
I'm not gonna
Just hope he does it quietly. I mean, this kind of is the nature of
And
men
not
to
the
an extent.
Leonardo DiCaprio treatment.
it's a risk. But as a woman, you always have to have like your backbone and make sure that you're super secure, because if he decides to play with his tail, you don't have to tolerate the disrespect.
I mean, the women that are married to very successful men, if they decide to walk, which they can just do at any time, like they're taken care of for the rest of their lives from his money and what they get in the divorce. So
Unless he's very smart, and then somehow you find out that everything is under his mom or his like relative, and he owns nothing, and then you walk away empty-handed. True story, happened to my friend. So
yeah, I think it's rare though.
Aaron,
Like,
you look
what
like
if,
you got.
What if he's a serial killer and the victims of the people he killed get all his money? It's like, yeah, this happens, but
it
not
happens.
that often.
Aaron, you look like you got something to chime in with. Why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, I just think that, I don't know, to go into a marriage and already have those expectations of what could happen to you in the future, and having that be so devastating and negative is such a toxic mindset, I think, to that institution. Like if you're already thinking he's going to leave me for someone younger down the road, like I think that just shows how weak your marriage is. And I just think fostering like strength, but in that relationship where you don't question their loyalty, like you don't question your future with that person. And I'm sure it happens out there and women have dealt with that, but me personally, I would just really try to stay away from that type of like train of thought. You know what I mean? Like
Where do you
trying
think
to
that comes from, Aaron? Like, where do you think? First of all, like, I think you're spot on too. Like, it's not really grounded or based in reality either, right? Because
right.
women leave men twice as much as men leave women, right? So it's just it's generally not really founded in reality, even in the numbers and statistics. But do you think that do you think it's societal? Do you think it's generational? Because I think that I've seen a ton of women that say these things. Well, I want to make sure I make my own money because I was always taught not to depend on a man. Like, is that the reason for it, or where do you think this comes from? Why do you think so many women these days are on this independence train?
I think a lot of them have been hurt before. And so they're doing that because they're guarded and they are probably feeling like they can't fully trust their husband or their spouse. Maybe it was generational, you know, they come from like background where there wasn't a great example for them marriage wise, and they don't know what that looks like. But and maybe a little bit of media, but I agree with you. I don't think that it's very common that men will go out and do that. And I'm all about like fostering your marriage and making it your priority and not introducing these extra unnecessary negative thoughts into it of what could potentially happen. Like that doesn't serve you, doesn't serve your husband. Or, it's just, I try to like, don't jinx yourself,
So, Francesca, you're the other married woman on this panel, I believe.
Mhm.
What's the secret? What's the secret to the success? What's a happy marriage? Like, what do you think makes a marriage great?
Well, I said earlier, friendship, communication.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by friendship? Let's go down that rabbit hole a little bit. And I asked this before. I said, like, do you think that men and women have to start out as friends? And I think you said no, but you said that like they should want to be around each other. But
Yeah.
It's pretty much table stakes, right? Like if two people don't like being around each other, they're most likely not gonna get married. Now people might get married and stop. Like, yeah, but like that usually happens after. Usually happens after, right? Like a lot of people don't go into marriages with somebody they don't like. So that happens somewhere down the line. So how do you avoid that from happening? Like how do you keep from ending up resenting your husband or allowing the marriage to fall apart? Like how do you stay excited about who you're married to?
I mean, it's the cliche basics, isn't it? Communication. I know everyone hears it all the time, but it is so true. Like you have to, if you don't communicate how you're feeling, it begins to like tear apart slowly by the seams, and it fosters and it grows bigger and bigger and bigger till you're like, how did we get out here? Like a boat going out to sea. So I think definitely communication, having time, like if you have a family and stuff, making time for each other away from the kids, I think is really important. But I find it frustrating that everybody wants to put these roles in boxes, like, oh, women have to do this and men have to do that, otherwise you're not feminine, you're not masculine. I just think it's a load of rubbish, personally.
Like what, for example? Like traditional values, like cooking and cleaning, or what do you have a problem with?
Yeah, I think because I think everybody's different. Everybody has different skill sets that brings the team of the husband and wife together. You're a side by side. You're like business partners, if you know what I mean. There's no one leading and someone underneath. It doesn't work like that. It's like, it's more of a yin and yang kind of vibe. It's like, oh no, I forgot to do, don't worry about it, I'll get it. Do you know what I mean? That's how I think marriage should be. And like I said earlier on, I barely do any of the cooking. He does most of it. But he also runs a business and does all those kinds of things. And I run my business. And it's interesting when you're talking about, you know, women wanting a man to do all the providing. But me personally, I grew up in a Christian household for most of my life. And once I started doing something for myself, it was actually the most liberating thing I've ever done. But I'm still married. You know, he champions me. He wants to see me succeed. And to me, that's a real man. That
but do you agree that there are
the success of his wife or his partner?
Do you agree that there are biological differences and favorables? Is my mic not on? Can you guys hear me?
Okay. Coming through okay.
Do you think that there? Oh, maybe that's why her mic was going on. Okay. Well, I wish we got be able to get onto that. If she pops back in, we certainly can. Oh, speak of the devil. Hold on.
I'm back.
Yeah, we lost you there for a second. Yeah. No problem. So I was going to ask you. Yeah, no, it's all good. I was going to ask you because you mentioned everybody is different, right? And so like these roles that are imposed on men and women, but would you agree that there are fundamental differences biologically between men and women, and there are things that men do better than women and things that women do better than men when it comes to children, kids, a household? I mean, do you think that there are things that there's advantages that one has over the other?
Well, I mean, obviously we're biologically different. That's true. I think historically women have had to numb and downplay their natural instincts because society said no, or they shame it, or they say that's not a strength, actually that's a weakness. You know, empathy, vulnerability, having a woman's instinct. You can walk into a room and you think something's off. That's our survival instinct that actually people, you know, society said, oh no, that's, you know.
But who's shaming women for being vulnerable?
I think people talk about those things being weaknesses, but they're strengths.
How so?
We have a whole array of emotions that we can show, which I think is also a strength. So we do have different strengths and weaknesses, but we have to see humanity as like a football team. I'm not going to say soccer, it's football.
So like if vulnerability is a strength, which I don't agree with because the word vulnerability, I mean, literally it means weakness. But let's just say it's a strength in this sort of situation. Like, would you want to follow a general or would you want to follow your husband if they're vulnerable and they're not sure about making decisions, if they don't really know which way to go or which way to lead? Is that somebody you're going to want to follow?
I don't want to follow anybody.
Why not?
Because it's my life. We're side by side. We're teammates. We're going together. So
can two people drive a car?
Two people can drive the car of marriage. Yeah, 100%. And even like when
How so?
So the story of Adam and Eve, for instance. I don't necessarily think I believe in that anymore, even though I spent most of my life believing that. But I was in church in Florida one time. The pastor told a great analogy about how it was from the rib. It was side by side. And I was like, all right, you've got my attention now. I'm back in the room kind of thing. And I just think that's how it is. You fill each other's weaknesses.
But that's not equal, is it? Like, Adam was a fully grown man and Eve is his rib. It's not like Adam was a full grown man and then God created a full grown woman, right? Like that's like saying my foot, if I cut it off, is equal to me, right? That foot comes from me. No?
I mean, I don't think that's how the world started anyway, because everything starts with a woman. Every fetus starts off female. So we are the portal to the universe.
But you can't get pregnant without a man.
Yeah, but it's minimal effort, isn't it? We're doing all the work. We're growing it, we're birthing it, we're giving our whole. And it's interesting when we talk about being a stay-at-home mum, the way it's like, I'm just a mum. Let's stop saying just, because it's not just, is it? It's the most important job to the world. It's not just, it's more important than I've been at work. That's easier than being at home and running the house. 100%. You see your goal, you finish it. But when you're at home with the kids,
If it's the most important job, then why do you have another career?
because I want to.
So it's
Because
not.
I love it.
So
Because it's something
that-
for me. Because I'm a
if
human
it's the
as
most
well. I'm not-
important, I know, but I'm saying, like, if it's the most important thing in the world, wouldn't you want to devote as much time and effort and resources to it as humanly possible?
Yeah, but I think that kids need to see that mum is motivated and loves to do things that
To
make her
not spend
happy.
time with them,
Well, you don't not
to go work.
Have you ever heard of a working dad? He's at work all the time. What's he doing?
Yeah, that's how it's always been. But like again, we're
because
talking
that's what
about the
you decided.
biological differences between men and women, right? Like babies are carried by their mothers for 9 months. I mean, there's a bond there between children and their mother naturally that a father doesn't have. I mean, we know that generally within the first like couple of years, maybe up to the age of 4, like babies don't really need their dads that much, but they need their moms. So
Oh,
like
they
men and
do.
women are completely different in that regard.
They do need
Like it's
their
not till
dads.
about but like they don't need them in the same regard, right? Like if a mother abandoned her baby for the first, if a baby wasn't nursed or wasn't taken care of by her mother for the first 4 or 5 years of its life, be far different than if the man wasn't around, right? Do you
Did you
agree
know
or do
that
you
after
disagree?
a while a man would start lactating if a woman wasn't around? Did you know that?
What are we doing here?
I'm just
What?
saying you have nipples for a reason. But
What?
yeah, there is. You can adapt. This is what's so incredible about being a woman. We're like multifaceted. We can do everything and still be that diamond. We can be putting our kids first, but the danger sometimes for mums is we put so much into our children that we forget to put our oxygen masks on first. And that's what you're meant to do. If the plane starts to woo, first, you can't give out of an empty vessel. And I think doing something for yourself, writing a book, starting a business when the kids start to get a little bit older is so freeing and liberating that it's really, really important. And I think this like, oh, women are being all independent now because we can. We're finally allowed to be everything that a woman
Yeah, you're
can
allowed,
do.
right? Like you're allowed. Who allows you to do whatever you want to do?
Well, yeah,
If men woke up
finally
tomorrow and they
we're-
said, yeah, but if men woke up tomorrow and said, we're not going to allow you to do that anymore, there's really nothing you can do about it, right?
It's a
Like-
yeah,
little
because there's
late
too
for
many
that.
of you in power. That's
Wow.
why.
It wouldn't take that many men. It would take maybe a few thousand men.
I think
They just said,
open a
hey, we're
history
gonna
book.
we're gonna take women's
Open a
rights
history
away.
book.
What do you mean?
I love history, and you only have to read a few stories to see where we ended up.
Like what, for example?
Oh, well, I mean, religion's one of them, but witches, half of them weren't even, but it was the threat of women who they felt held too much power. But my full analogy about men and women is humanity is one big football team, and history tells us that men came along and basically told half the team they can't play anymore. Right? So is that team going to win? No. You need all the players. You need right back, left back, front, center. You need all of us. You know, I'm not like a woman that says, "Oh, we don't need men." Yes, we do. We need us all because we're on one big team.
What do you need
and
men for? What do you think? What do you think men's purpose in society is?
What is the purpose of men? I mean, if you're
Cooking.
funny, then I'm all in.
Cooking, opening doors, buying flowers.
If you can make me laugh, I mean, no, I mean, I think men bring a lot to the table of humanity, definitely. But I think it needs to be run more equally, and I wonder what the world would be like if we weren't held back for so many years.
A disaster. All right, let's. I want to move on
Aaron,
to.
hold on. Aaron, what do you got?
Yeah, if Aaron's got something, please, before we move on.
This is my own opinion, but I firmly think men make the world go round. Men truly are responsible for the electricity you have. They built your home. They manage everything in our lives to have, like, we live such comfortable lives because of the sacrifices men have made. And I just think that men's hard work doesn't get, we don't appreciate it. And so I personally think men are invaluable because of everything that they've contributed to society.
I agree. I'm not saying we don't need men, definitely not. But what I'm saying about history, and there's a lot of things that women invented that men took credit for. Or there's a lot of things that women weren't allowed to do. You had to pretend to be a man, to be a writer, to be an inventor. You know, did you know women built the Waterloo Bridge in London? No. Did you know that women were playing football in the 1921, 50,000 people, and men came back from war and said, you can't play anymore? So this is why, you know, obviously we need men. I'm not saying we don't, and they do amazing things, but women could do lots of things as well. And we've spent most of history telling women these are the only things you can do, but that's not true. It's not true.
I think some of the
Did you
things
just
that
say
women-
they were playing football
Yeah.
and the men were off at war?
Soccer.
1921.
Yeah, I know.
We're playing real
women
football.
were-
Soccer.
No, I know that. I know
It's not
that.
real.
But the men were off at war and the women were
Yeah.
playing football.
Well, they weren't just playing football. They were doing the factories. They were building bridges. They were sewing uniforms.
When are you guys going to let go
everything.
of Rosie the Riveter? When are women going to stop with this Rosie the Riveter stuff? Like, can we please, is there
Rosie?
not a single like female role model in the history that we can relate to other than women were put in factories because they had to be? And it's also like, it's not like
No,
every
there
single
isn't.
man,
It's the
but it's not
patriarchy.
like
It's the
every
patriarchy's
single
fault,
man
Paul.
on the planet. Not every single man in the country was going and fighting off to war. Like there were still plenty of men. The majority of men were still at home.
I mean, I'm
working in the
old
factories.
enough to remember my granddad. He didn't go to war. He was down the mines. This is England. You know, we were in it. You know, and obviously first-hand stories from my grandma and stuff like that. So yeah, I know the stories, but who knows Rosie? What did she do?
Before we move on, I want to ask a question that will get to what I think is like the issue with, because like what you're saying sounds very nice, and it sounds very nice to a lot of people, especially a lot of women, right? Where it's like women need to have their own thing. We've been held down by men. So we have 7 women on the panel. How many women on the panel have children? So I think it was 1. And how many children do you have, Francesca?
3.
So we need, like, from 7 women, we need 15 children to not be fucked in like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. And I think this, you know, this rhetoric that is essentially like the feminist rah-rah, right, that we've had for the last 30, 40, 50, 60 years in the West has pushed so many women away from having children. And like, this cannot continue. Like, it literally can't. The population will collapse.
It's not feminism. It's not feminism.
You call it whatever you want.
No, but that's not why women are having
more than 2 children per woman, or we're fucked.
That's not why, though.
Why is
that's
it
not why?
It's not why. Because women don't have enough help. We're expected to be a maid, a child care, and work, because let's look at the economy. It's very rare now you can have a relationship where women and men don't have to go to work. Or, you know, you have to be doing very well, one of you, for the other person to not have to work at all. So you have to work, then you've got to come home and cook and clean. And I mean, no offense, but your maternity care is dreadful over there. You don't, you know, when I come over there from where I am, there's no mother and baby parking spaces. We get a year off work in England. Like, where is the help? There's no help for mothers. So it's off-putting. It's difficult. It costs money. You know, you get 6 weeks off for maternity in America, which is shocking. It's actually the worst maternity care in the developed world that you guys have. So who wants to have a baby in that situation? And then you're drumming home that men have to go to work, they can't pitch in, cook, clean, and be part of the household and all work together as a team. It doesn't sound very desirable. And that is why women are having less children, not because of feminism. Feminism is what helped us vote, get a bank account, get a mortgage. That's feminism. It's not about bashing men. It's about
Well, I never said it's about bashing men, but it always seems to end up with 30, 40, 50 years down the road, we're below replacement rates, right? Like women are prioritizing things other than having children, right? Like now if a woman was 18, 19 years old right now, and she says, I don't want to go to college. I don't want to have a career. I want to be a mom, and I want to be married and be a mom this year. A majority of the women in her life around her are going to tell her that's a bad choice.
No.
I think you would tell a woman who's 18 or 19 and came to you and asked what you think. Should I go get a degree and get a job, or should I get married and have children?
I just went to my cousin's wedding. She was 19. I got married at 19. So I think if women were more supported, it's supposed to be a village situation, but we're not.
I can,
chime in. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to chime in just a little bit. So I'm kind of dealing with something right now that's pretty similar. I don't want to get into full details, but right now, because just circumstances, I'm at home helping a young mom with a child that had a lot of complications because he was born at 26 weeks. And the lack of support in general to even teach her how to use the G tube that he's being fed through, oxygen tanks. Like, thank God in a past life, I was a veterinary technician and I know how to use an IV line, which is similar to what's being fed through the G tube and stuff. Like, she's right. Like, there really is almost zero support for women when they do have these kids. And she is a stay-at-home mom. And she still needs some help, especially there's extenuating circumstances here, but I know a lot of moms who I'm friends with because all my friends have kids and they're like, Megan, can you run to the pharmacy and grab this for me really quick? Like, my husband's off at work, and like people are very self-centered, not in like the egotistical way, but like everybody's so wrapped up and worrying about themselves that no one really has the resources to actually come together and have free time to be a village. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, and I think
that's what we've
lost. Because all the women are at work.
Yeah,
that's why.
No, it's not that.
Because they don't have support.
My friends are. My best friend Chelsea, she's a stay-at-home mom and she's got 3 kids and she lives on a beautiful farm. Her husband makes really good money, and she's still she was actually throwing up like crazy the other day, and she was like, Megan, can you please go get this medicine for me really quick because I can't drive and I have all these kids and my husband's away at work. And I just think that there was a weird, the generation before millennials, I guess, I don't fucking know what it is, but whatever that generation was, my parents and stuff, they were all the ones who were like, don't have kids. We hate having kids.
How were women raising households of 12 children while the man was off working in the mines 100 years ago, and now women can't even handle
sibling
one.
support.
Well, first of all, you didn't need to earn as much money as you do now,
right? And there's a lot of, and
it's all
relative,
though, right? It's all.
Well, there was
relative.
more of a community mindset then. Everyone's very self-centered.
I think that's the point that we're making. It's been eroded by feminism.
No.
Women aren't being taught that it takes a village or that they should band together in
But
female community, and that mothers that live together in the same cul-de-sac or family members should be coming together to help the children, help the baby. Like, feminism, I think, has been the primary driver for why we have the breakdown in the familial unit, especially the nuclear family. Like, that's,
How many,
I think it's a huge driver
feminist-
for that.
Question for you. How many feminist podcasts do you follow or watch?
Zero.
Okay,
Zero.
so you don't know then, do you?
I don't know what feminism is because I don't follow feminist podcasts.
You're saying it's feminism fault, but you don't actually know what they're saying.
No, I'm saying it's feminism is the cause, and I'm talking about.
It's
I'm not
not,
talking
though.
about feminism in 2026. I'm talking about third wave feminism.
No, it's
I'm talking
not.
about the first three waves of feminism.
It's not.
I
It's
would
not.
say
I would even call myself a feminist, and I love being a mum. I'm
What do you think
trained
makes
as
you a feminist?
Because I'm a girl's girl. I just think it's amazing what we can do, and we've not been given the opportunity yet to show the world.
What do you
the full
what
power of
opportunity
being
have
a
women
woman.
not been given in this world? Like, what can you not go outside and do today that you want
Walk
to
in
be
the
given the
dark
right
for
to
one.
do?
I walk in the dark all the time.
Oh God,
Fuck around
there's
and
so
find
many
out.
things.
So as a woman, you
Meg,
shouldn't
you would
have to.
fuck
You
up a
should
man
have
if
to.
you tried to do
You shouldn't
anything
have
to
to
you.
have any situational awareness. The yellow brick road should just open for you, and everything should just be amazing, and everybody should just go out of their way to look out for you and take care of you. And it's not up to you to be discerning about where you walk at night. It's everybody else's responsibility. Is that what I'm
I
hearing?
mean, I don't know of one woman that hasn't had a bad experience from a man in any way, that kind of
What
thing.
does that have to
you-
do with feminism?
No, but you just asked. You just
No,
asked
what
why.
rights do you not have? Like, what rights do you not have that a man
Well, we
has?
still don't have equal pay, first of all.
But like, let's turn it
I need
a
somebody
tiny
to
bit.
save
So
me.
like,
But I mean,
I'll save
it.
you say,
I
you guys
will.
have
I'll go ahead
kids?
and jump in here.
Please.
And I work in sales. I work in a predominantly male-dominated sales industry. I don't deal with the wage gap.
I never
It
have
doesn't
either.
exist.
it does in some places still, because I know my auntie. But anyway, but
It doesn't
shouldn't
exist
ever
as a
have-
systemic way that everybody would like to think that it does. Like, there's not this overarching system that is putting women down, that is saying, hey, we're going to pay women 70 cents to the dollar that we pay men. Like, that doesn't exist. The differences in pay have everything to do with the types of pay and vocation that women go into. Francesco, you're a model, right? Like, how many male models are out there? You make way more as a female model than a man does as a male model. Is that a problem?
And also,
Or is it
kinda to
only a
jump in on
problem
the
in
modeling
male-dominated
thing.
fields?
Franny,
Please.
we
I
need to
have
get more
heard
males
horror
in Swimsuit
stories.
USA.
I have heard horror stories from male models that they deal with just as much, if not the equal amount of sexual harassment in the modeling industry.
yeah.
So I think that trying to say that you can't walk down the street in the dark, I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I also don't think it's fair, because how many people just on a regular basis, regardless of their gender, are getting attacked in the street?
And guess
in the dark.
what?
Yeah.
Men are
Mainly by
attacked.
men, though.
Men are victims. Yeah, but guess what? Men are victims, and they're
Who's
more.
doing
Men
the
are more
attacking?
often. Hold on. Men are more often victims of violent crime, and they stand a higher chance to be a victim of violent crime than women. So really, you should be saying, men should be saying, "Hey, I don't really feel like getting my ass kicked. How come the women aren't, coming to my defense? Because I'm more
They do,
likely to
though,
get
But
attacked
they're
than
getting
you
their
are."
ass kicked from other men, not from a woman.
Statistically,
That's not the
you're more
point. The
likely
point
to be
is,
helped
like,
by a woman than a man. Statistically.
What do you mean by that? What statistic? What do you mean helped?
Statistically, if you're in danger, you are more likely to be helped by a woman.
If I'm in danger and there's a woman coming to my rescue, I'm praying because I know that I'm gonna die.
yeah, but she still
That's
went,
it.
didn't she?
It's over. Oh
She's
yeah,
still,
it's the thought.
She's
It's
still
the thought
caved.
that counts. It's the thought that counts, right? She means well. I mean, I'm still gonna get stabbed, but it was the thought that counts.
But that's
Let's,
the point. Like, if you're
what-
gonna,
What do
gotta
you
move
mean
on. We've got to move
statistically
on.
you're more
Last
likely
question,
to be
but
helped by a
got to.
woman?
No.
What?
We've got to move on. We've got to move on.
yeah.
I want to go to Kara because Kara, you've been very patient. I appreciate that. Now, Kara, you said before the show that you're a big believer in traditional roles and traditional men and women sort of roles, but I would not consider you necessarily a traditional woman by your vocation and by how you make money. So how do you sort of rectify that, right? Like, so how do you, if you're looking for a traditional man that wants a stay-at-home, modest, covered wife, and that's not necessarily what you do for a living, like how do you rectify that? How does that compete in your brain?
I mean, I grew up very religious, and it's a job, first of all, and it's a way to make money that's pretty easy. So for me, it's about supporting myself, but guess I don't think it's, I don't know. It's like, it's just like, I mean, I get what you're saying, but yet I still feel like I shouldn't be like, oh, you can't be with her because she, sells pics of her boobs. Guys, porn's been around for how long? I mean, it's just like what it is. I mean, it is what it is. And guys are still gonna always be into porn.
I don't think we should be ashamed of it. I think it's a great industry to be part of.
I think we should make porn illegal.
It's a great industry to be a part of. Is that what you just said?
Yeah. I think why
how
not?
so?
And I am not a feminist, first of all. Absolutely not.
But I just think why not?
I just want to make money, and I like being sexy. I mean,
there's nothing wrong with that. That's the thing. I think we should be able to be free and be sexy, and if it's consensual, then there's no problem.
I don't think that's what we're talking about. That. What do you mean? Like consensual in what way? Between two actors?
Yeah, so it's a job. It's something you enjoy doing. You're getting paid what you're being asked to be paid. You're in charge of what's happening and in control.
So just because something's easy and you're getting paid, like that makes it okay? Like what about dealing? What about dealing drugs? What about being a drug dealer? That's easy.
Well, I don't even think that could be fun.
Well, it's easy and it's fun, and you're capitalizing on the.
And you don't feel.
How is it not comparable? Here's why I think it's comparable. I'll make the comparison right now. So dealing drugs is taking something that is a seedy sort of industry that is illegal, or that is, well, you wouldn't say porn. I mean, the only reason it's like, as long as you can't have sex in public, but you can have it in front of a camera. I mean, so the reason I think it's the same is because you're taking something and you are capitalizing on an animalistic impulse of somebody. Often that can be so strong that it can ruin their life. Like addiction, porn addiction is a real thing. Sex addiction is a real thing. Being addicted to gambling, being addicted to drugs. It could be, sex is a vice and pornography is a vice, just like drugs are. So it's like we lock up drug dealers because they are dealing substances that mess with people's brains, mess with their biological makeup, cause them to do horrible, terrible things. Why is porn an exception? And how is that different?
Okay, well, I will say I am not filming videos of sexual things. So not saying that that's right or wrong. Yeah. However, I'm just selling pics of myself. So,
that's why the
I don't think anyone went out and murdered someone or stole a car or, I don't know, shot up some street or something over porn. Over some titties. Yeah. I don't think that's ever happened.
You can't.
Women are getting murdered. What do you mean? Like OnlyFans girls are getting killed
for existing, but not directly related to porn. I don't know. Actually, as a matter of fact, there was an OF model who actually stabbed her boyfriend to death. So I don't know. I don't know of any models that are getting murdered because they're on OnlyFans. And I'm not sure saying that it doesn't happen, but I'm sure it has. Yeah. But not to the extent that drugs have. I don't think that's
so. There's nowhere.
So men are
near what drug violence is.
Men are emptying their bank accounts. Men are emptying their bank accounts because they think they have a relationship with a woman behind a screen that they don't have, and they are putting themselves at risk. They're putting their families at risk. But that is the point. But that's the thing. What I'm saying
I'm not
is,
disagreeing there.
how is that different? But how is it different than being a drug dealer? They can choose not to do drugs. They can choose not to go and buy the drugs, but they do it anyway.
You could be addicted
You could choose
to
not to buy
anything.
porn too.
Yeah, it's like the pub,
yes,
isn't
that's
it?
the point
If
that
you're an
I'm making.
alcoholic, don't go
I'm
in.
trying to.
But love is a drug, right?
Anything.
No.
You could be addicted to anything. Food, alcohol.
Correct.
Make love
These are all-
illegal.
but this is a chemical
Make food
thing.
illegal, because it's more like, if you can't, stop eating burgers, then maybe don't go to McDonald's. It's kind
Kara,
of what
I
it
have
is,
a
isn't it?
question for you.
I honestly can't believe
Yes,
that this
Aaron.
is the conversation we're having. I know. I remember now why we stopped doing this show.
Aaron's gonna.
Oh, hi. Oh, sorry. So, Kara, I have a question for you. So, with your dating, like, I want to know, how does that work for you in dating? Does it work for you, and like, you feel like you are getting something in your dating life out of your job, or is it something you have to like hold back and kind of keep to yourself and keep secret? Like, how does
I
that?
don't keep it a secret. I mean,
You're like open about it and like, oh, this is what I do. And
if you follow my Instagram, it's pretty much clear.
and
That's her funnel. That's how she meets the guys.
And it's like, are you getting the types of dates that you want when you put yourself out there?
I mean, I am really picky, and you can screen obviously a lot of people. But I've met a lot of great guys. And some guys are, maybe turned off by it, but a lot are just more like, well, good for you. You're hustling and you're making money. So good for you. So
the easiest way to make sure you're going on dates with guys with money is to charge for them.
Well, I wasn't sure if they were like off-put by it or it didn't bother them, or I was just curious.
I mean, so far, I've had a few like comments, but nothing like, like it's like a deal breaker. So
yeah,
I mean, my family
don't mind.
My family's ashamed. It's kind of a topic that I try to avoid, like around the holidays. But like I said, I grew up with my mom. Like, yeah, I grew up in a very religious family, so it was something that just kind of like, hey, why don't you try this? And so that's how it started. And then once you start making money from it, it's like, oh.
So who got you into it, right? Who is this? Why don't you try this person?
A photographer.
It's always the photographers.
This is like the modern.
Was it a male photographer?
Of course.
Of course.
Of course it was.
Yeah, he wanted to have you naked with a camera in his hands. That's what that was.
He probably also said, "Let's do your first shoot at my place, right? Let's go back to my room and we'll do your first OF shoot. We'll make you lots of money."
I think as long as you feel in control and I think there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I'm confident, and I know like where to draw the line.
Yeah. Well, my Instagram's fairly sexy, very sexy. I think it's one of the best things I've ever done. It's liberating. It's to like harness that side of yourself.
What's liberating about it?
About your sexy Instagram, does it bother him, or is he just like whatever? Like, how does he feel about it?
My husband.
Yeah, about your.
He loves it.
Account. He likes it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if he wanted you to put those pictures on, or if you do it even though he doesn't like it, or if he was into it, or like what, you know what I mean?
I think it was just something that I decided to start by myself. And I didn't realize it was going to feel so liberating. Also, having the church background, there's all the purity culture and all this that's drummed into you. And I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like, whoa, wow, I feel powerful. I'm like, oh my God, that's me. Look at me. And I feel like I'm doing it for myself mainly. And I think him seeing that in me was what he like enjoyed. Like,
And I bet you don't ever worry because you're confident, because you're
Yeah.
sexy, and your sex life is probably, I'm just imagining, probably pretty up there.
through
because
the
you'll
fucking
Right.
roof.
And you're probably not ever worrying about like, oh, is he, you know, out messing with so and so, because you'd never let that go. Like, I think that's the biggest thing. I think women,
Yeah.
like, you know,
I
they're
feel so lucky. Like, all the time when I describe what my husband's like to my friends, they're like, oh my God, wow. And I was like, I know, because it's so based on trust. The trust is the foundation. I'll go out, I'll be wearing a really low cut, sexy dress, whatever. Guys come up. He's like, he knows I'm not going to do anything, but he knows men are going to. Why get mad at me for someone approaching me? It's not my fault.
Because you're acting like you're single
Why?
and you're attracting the attention of other men that are not your husband.
That's their
Why is that
problem.
appropriate?
Because
Their problem? What do you
if a
mean?
man comes up to me, I'm like, I'm married. That's it.
Why even put yourself into a situation and be wearing something that's going to invite a man to come up to you?
Because it's not about.
Because if men are so
dangerous,
dangerous and you're so worried about being attacked by a man, why are you wearing things that are inviting them to be aggressive sexually towards you?
no, being in a dark street with someone with a hood up walking behind me, that's one thing. When you're in like a bar and
Do you think a man can't attack you in a bar?
oh yeah, of course they can.
So what's the difference?
But
Because
sometimes
they need to learn to control themselves. I am not in charge of someone else's emotions.
So there's
I'm not in
nothing
charge
about
of
you that
house.
takes any yeah, but like you lock your doors at night when you close up and you lock your car because you don't want somebody to break into it. Why not just leave your house open? It should be it's up to a burglar not to
I'm not a
steal. You
possession.
should just leave your house open.
So you're comparing men to criminals.
No, I'm making a point.
No,
But you
that's my
can't
point.
also go off of what you're wearing, because it's more than, I mean, it's a, what is that? Like your aura. I mean, it's like you have that regardless. Like, I mean, you could be up to here, but you still exude
No,
that. Like,
absolutely not. You're going to
I
be
don't know if you've
approached
seen
by
the
so many more
exhibition.
men. You will be approached by so many more men wearing sexy outfits and dresses and bikinis and things that are in, because those are literally inviting attention, than if you were to wear a turtleneck or I go to the club wearing a parka and see how many guys come up to you versus going in a bikini.
let's do it.
Yeah.
I would love to try that. I would bet every last dollar that you'll be approached more wearing a low cut top than you would be wearing a parka.
I mean, I don't know if you
disagree. I honestly, I
disagree.
I disagree.
Try it.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen that exhibition. It's quite harrowing, actually, and it's all the clothes that women were wearing when they've been, you know, a victim of certain abuse, and it's quite shocking. It doesn't matter it literally does not matter what you wear.
Or I think we need to.
I'm going to do it.
I think we need to
It's
delineate
not on us anymore. I think that's what we're saying. We've had enough. It's not on us. We dress for ourselves. I don't know about you ladies.
No, you don't.
But when I feel that's because you want female attention, but we actually do a lot of things without thinking about impressing a man. I don't know what you girls think, but if I'm wearing a really nice dress, I'm like, I'm doing it for me. I put my makeup on for me. I get my hair done for me. I'm never once thinking about some guy I have never met before.
But I really feel like that's like a very slow percentage.
That type of.
Hold on, Aaron. Let's get Kim to chime in real quick. Actually, hold on. No, I think Meg had something. Get to Meg first.
I just wanted to delineate the difference between like male sexual attention and abuse, because two completely different pathologies and two completely different criteria. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be that nerd, but I've dealt with a lot of cases and stuff like that. And it does not matter what you're wearing when you're assaulted, because usually it's by a man that actually knows you. It's by a man that you know, oftentimes a man that you trust when you're assaulted. Second, men, I don't know. I've been approached in some pretty questionable gym fits. I've been approached in some pretty questionable like situations. So I don't really know if what you matters what you wear matters entirely. I don't know if I agree with that. I would say with like in like certain scenarios maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
You're definitely going to be approached either way because you're a woman. Like that's just
Period.
going to happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously wearing a bikini is going to get more attention than wearing a parka, right? Like Kara, I'm sure your photos, you know which ones get the most attention, which ones get the most likes, the most comments. You're not posting in parkas.
But that's her job.
Yeah, I know, but
Well, that
this
was
is what
going to
I
be the
mean
kind
is
of
that
point I was
it's
going to
proof.
make.
It's
Go ahead,
evidence
Spence.
that an outfit like a bikini gets more male attention than a parka.
Yeah, you're not posting in a parka. Posting in a bikini.
But that's because a job. I'm saying if I went out, I could have on.
No. I mean, it gets
making the
more
point
male
that the bikini
attention
is sexy.
because that's what men are
Well,
interested
obviously,
in,
bikinis
not
are
because it's a
sexy.
job.
But that
Yes,
is
that's the point that
we
he's
like to
making.
feel pretty and beautiful, and we like to do that's part of being a woman. You go on
Here's
about
kind
how
of the issue that I have. Like, we talk about how women can do all these amazing feats and how amazing they are, and they can be these boss girls, and we haven't allowed them to flourish. So, hey, let's invite women to some male-dominated fields. You want a woman to build your bridge? Here you go. Step right this way. And Francesca, you champion sort of this, women can do anything mindset, and yet you take the easiest possible route of a career as possible, which is just dressing sexy and putting on bikinis. Like it's not a hard job, right? It's
That's
really
not my
easy.
job.
It's what you were born. You make money doing it,
no, it's not. I run a wedding venue.
but you make money modeling. Like you get paid to do it. You get paid to dress in bikinis and dress sexy.
I'm
Like, that's
telling you now,
something
if
you get
men
paid
could
to
make
do.
the same amount of money doing what women do, they would be doing it, and they would be doing their little emojis with a little up symbol saying, "Look how much money I made." You would be
If
absolutely.
my aunt had
killing
balls,
it.
she'd be my uncle. What does that have to do with this?
I'm just saying, like, why not take the opportunities that we're given to make money?
No, I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying be upfront about it. I'm just saying, like, yeah, I'm
upfront
using what I
about
have.
it.
No, but like but when you said earlier, you were like, yeah, women can do all these things and women can be champions and Rosie the Riveter. Like, thank God Rosie the Riveter riveted all those divots so you could take your
Remember,
clothes
I
off
don't know
80
who
years
Rosie is.
later.
Is she an American? Who is she?
Thank God the women were playing football or building bridges or invented all of these things so you could take your clothes off for money 80 years later. Is that what we're saying here? Like,
I think women have always been.
The women were
doing
taking
that.
their clothes off for all the guys who were like fighting.
How about the
Yeah.
nurses? How about the nurses that were tourniqueting people's legs that had just been blown off? I think
Yeah.
that was
What
a little
about
more
them?
important, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this is why I'm saying about multifaceted. We're not saying that's the most important thing in the world, but if a woman wants to do it, why can't she? And why does she
I
have
don't
to
think
be
anyone's
shamed
telling her she
for it?
can't.
no one's saying
Yeah.
women
Oh
can't
no,
do
I'm
what they
agreeing
want
with
to
you.
do.
Sorry,
First
I'm
of all,
just
like,
saying.
no one, no.
I'm agreeing.
What I'm
like, yeah.
saying is, like, it seems to be very funny to me that women seem to champion this entire feminist movement of liberation and feeling free and making our own money when they're taking the path of absolute least resistance. Like, there's not a lot of virtue in that, right? It's like, I would much rather women just be upfront and be like, yeah, Kara, at least I respected it because she's like, I have a good time and it's easy money. And I'm not I'm not sitting here saying, hey, women are these amazing creatures that can do all of these things. It's like, well, if women have all this amazing capacity, then why aren't we championing them to use that capacity in something that's more than just the low hanging fruit, like OnlyFans or modeling?
Why can't you do both?
I feel like you can.
If you do
I mean,
I
certain
feel like
jobs,
I'm talking in circles here.
So-
if you're
No, but
if you have a certain job or a certain career, you definitely cannot do both. I can promise you that, because I was in a male-dominated field, United States military, active duty for over 9 years, just over 9 years. And I can tell you now that if I was selling myself on the internet while I was being a paralegal in the United States Navy JAG Corps, there would have been consequences.
I'm not talking about the same person doing
and
both.
And I will also say that if I don't know if I had known how much OnlyFans models were making when I was in these jobs, I'm not going to not say that I wouldn't consider it, because the shit that I went through being in a male-dominated field and the shit that I've seen, I know too much about these men out here. Okay, 2, that is probably way fucking easier than the shit that I was doing.
Here's
3,
the point, because I want to move on from. Go ahead, Meg. Finish your point.
Sorry, and basically,
Oh,
like,
you're
I'm not gonna sit here and say that I wouldn't consider it because it is easy money, much easier than being in the military, and you
I
make
don't have
way
a problem
more.
with it being easy. Just so
No,
everyone's clear,
no.
I don't have a
I don't
problem
think
with
it's
it.
that
I think
easy.
what's
I don't
annoying, I think what's annoying when women expect people to bow at their feet and do this. Oh my God, you took your clothes off. Like,
Right.
big
Yeah,
deal.
no.
Like, that's what I'm talking about. It's like, if women are so
Who
amazing and
wants
have all
that,
this
though?
virtuousnness, it's like,
I don't think anybody
is
wants
it
It
that.
not
doesn't make
enough?
as much money.
But I'm saying, is it not enough just to like take your clothes off and make easy money? Do you need to have a parade thrown for you too? Like, do you need to have the
Who
whole
wants
world
a
kiss the
parade?
ground
I
that
never
you
said
walk on?
that. I'm
Who
just
asked for a parade?
This idea of like liberation and freedom
I
and
never said.
empowerment
I said
and
I am
all of these kind of,
absolutely
I'm not talking
not a
about you, Kara.
feminist.
I think
Okay.
I know,
that
but
what
I'm talking
he
about the
is
idea of
saying
the-
is that there's
Go ahead,
maybe no
Caroline.
one specifically in this chat that's asking for a parade, but if you look on social media and you look at the trends that are being pushed, people are absolutely trying to celebrate this. And I will be honest, I was raised Catholic and I am now a Christian, and I have personal feelings on it. And a big reason why I would never do it is, one, I, God forbid, had a son and he goes to school one day and somebody in his classroom pulls up, hey, I saw your mom when she was, let's say 25. And I would not personally want my child to have to go through that, because if I was in that position and I saw either my mother or my father like that, I think I would be very deeply embarrassed. And I do think, unfortunately, as it is today, children have enough to deal with in school. Kids are nasty. And that, we want to talk about low-hanging fruit. In a middle school, high school situation, that is something people are not going to let go.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's
All
a
right.
reason why Kim Kardashian, till this day, she keeps on hiding the tape in every single way, shape, or form possible from her kids. Like, I have strong opinion in regards to OF. Like, I don't judge. I couldn't care less. You're not harming nobody, but I feel like it's literally the devil's work. In my opinion, it is easy money. I get it. Caroline, you're in direct sales. It's a male dominant business. It builds us differently. I've been in direct sales for 11 years. I got fuck you, door slams. I worked in -50. It's dirty, but it built my character and my standards. When I first got into door to door, I had my really good friend at that time. She was a paid prostitute. And I remember when she invited me for her, like, an event with her friend, she pulled me aside and she's like, don't tell anyone you do door to door because it's embarrassing. I was like, pardon, I'm knocking doors and selling in commission only, trying to like grind in a first world country. That's embarrassing, but selling my body, it's not. And the society is messed up because we're glorifying it as like, oh, women empowerment, feel sexy. I've done a boudoir photo shoot. I felt very beautiful, but these pictures are for me. My friend, she's like, just sell them. You make so much money. I'm like, no, they're like, for me, it's something sacred. When I'm 50, 60, 70, I'm going to look back and like appreciate my own beauty. Like, it's my husband who's supposed to like look at it, because I want a traditional man. But if my man tells me I have an Onlyfans, or like I do dancing on TikTok and I go live and like collect money, you're not.
I think that's
Let's
a
switch
really
gears
good
a little bit.
mindset, because you can
Go ahead
have
real quick,
kind of the
Spence.
best. You have the best of both worlds there. Like you explained, you could still feel that way, but you didn't make it public. So I think that's a really good mindset of it. But I also, to go back on the last thing you said, Moff, I don't really think anyone likes the parade. Like women don't even like it either. Otherwise,
Oh, I don't buy
women
that.
who do
They
OF,
love it. Any attention, they love it. It's their drug. What do you mean?
but they don't like the guy who's in their DMs sending 10,000 heart eye emojis.
they don't want to date
actually
him, but they'll take his money.
Yes, they'll take his money. That's what they really
They'll take
like,
his
is-
attention. They like the attention. They like the notifications. They like scrolling by his comments saying, I'd never fuck that guy, but he can keep paying me and leaving me heart eye emojis.
No,
I
this
think.
is a
Before we-
business. It's a transaction. There's no
Yeah.
emotional attachment to it. I have a
It's
friend.
Of course
Yeah,
there
yeah,
is.
the
It's still a
sales.
dopamine hit. Attention is the coin of the realm for women. It's a dopamine
I
hit. There's
know
always
that's
going
a
to be a
human
rush.
stripper. She's like a
instinct.
lesbian. She collects all of this money from guys. She's even like men.
It doesn't matter.
there for
It
the
doesn't matter if
attention.
it's attention is attention, whether it's coming from men or women or dogs or whoever. Women love
But that's the
attention.
same in any industry. You go
That's why
in,
women
you
love
go,
dogs so much, because they can get free attention without having to do anything except fill up a fucking dog bowl. It's like the most one-sided relationship of all time. They love dogs.
I thought
They're
we liked
obsessed.
cats.
My dog gives me no attention.
I thought we like everybody
That's
wants
tough.
attention. That's a human instinct.
But it's not the
Everybody-
same for here's the deal. Like, it's not the same for men as it is for women.
I think that
I
it's
don't
more
know, you're
frowned
not a woman.
upon for men.
Guys are
We
all
gotta
like,
take
if
we gotta
you're
take pets
seeking-
out of
if
this
you're
because I love
seeking
my
Men
dog
want
too.
so much attention.
Like-
It's untrue.
No, I
Men
mean, I
want
think
so
that
much
men
attention.
definitely like get more hate for wanting attention than women do.
Yeah.
It's like, to your point, it's kind of expected. Like, women expect attention, and if a man wants attention, now he's like, oh, he's a simp. How
Yeah,
is that fair?
No,
I quite like simps.
a man. That's not what a simp is, though.
Okay, well, maybe I'm
simp-
not.
I
A
think
simp is
we
a
need
man
to
giving
normalize
away
marrying
his
simps.
attention for nothing.
Adam.
It's
Seeking,
an
but
unequal
he's
exchange
seeking
of
attention.
value.
Hmm.
He's seeking. No, here's the deal. He wants to be noticed and recognized by one woman so he can date her. That's much different than a guy posting Instagram for likes and the validation and likes of
What
complete
about all your
strangers
gym
from all over the
bros?
world.
You gym bros with the tops on.
What about gym bros? The
I
average
feel like
gym
that-
bro,
They're not
the
doing that
average
for
gym bro
attention.
gets microscopic amounts of attention versus an average woman on Instagram.
I think you
or
guys
TikTok.
try and please each other more than anything else.
I'd probably say like most guys get into
Who
it
cares?
for like to get noticed by girls though. So that that's fair. I see that
Sure.
standpoint.
Yeah, I
The
think
thing
I
is
think you
with
judge by
simping
your
is
own
that
standards. So what
guy
you do,
might
you
want-
think we do?
Men
With
don't
simping, a
care
guy
about
might
men
want
don't
that
care about
girl's
attention
attention.
from stranger women though. They don't care about that. They want attention from the women they want to sleep with and be with. Women love attention whether it's with a stranger or her dad or, like I said, her dog or other girls, or it doesn't matter who. Men are very specific with who
I
they're trying
think
to get
we'd be happy
noticed
to be
by. It's not
left-
just
left
attention
alone.
as a whole. If women wanted to be left alone, they wouldn't be on Instagram and they wouldn't have a non-private and they would just be at home reading books. Show me if you want a woman that doesn't want attention, she's at home reading a book. She's not on Instagram. TC, please
I don't know, you have to
talk to
really-
me,
so
talk to me
this-
about Instagram
this
and
is-
social media and
Take a
women.
deep
Why are you
breath.
doing this? Why are
We're
you
just
not at home reading a book?
I'm
Why
a
have you
man.
brought us on here? Go read a book.
This is what I find so
You
interesting.
do this for
and
attention. This
And
whole
not
thing.
This is the
Right.
business.
so Kim, I don't want to dig into you too hard about this, but like
It's
your
okay,
photo
give it to
shoot
me.
you
I
did,
can take the heat.
your photo shoot you did, where you dressed up sexy just for yourself, right? And you're like, I want to look back on this when I'm old and wrinkly, whatever, and oh, look how beautiful I was.
Yeah.
And I think we have like so corrupted women's minds that like this is the source of happiness for most women, right? Like what happened to a woman's out in public with her beautiful children and someone's like, oh my God, your children are so beautiful and well behaved. Like that's where I think women should be getting their happiness from, like their validation from, right? Not like you look sexy in a bikini. Like, I think that we've come so far, and a lot of it is from stuff we talked about earlier, right? Like, oh, we need to empower women. They need to have careers. They need no, let's walk it back a bit. Your children are beautiful. They're so well behaved. You're so helpful in the community. You helped out at the church bake sale. Like this is kind of what it used to be, right? Like women got their validation in a way that was different than like being sex objects.
When
Yeah.
was
And the same thing
Playboy?
for,
When
like-
did Playboy start?
1960 something? Is that accurate?
Why?
Gosh, I can't remember.
What's the
Well,
relevance?
I'm just saying. I mean, Playboy's been around for a very long time when all the traditional values were what they were.
But it was
So
not
Yeah,
but
and
it
it was
still-
very
it was still
frowned
something-
upon, and it was a faux pas. Like it was a dirty nudie mag that you could barely get a hold of. It wasn't just a click of a button away on your phone. Like that stuff was really hard to get. It was really looked down upon. Like it's only in the last 5 or 6 years that you're seeing like porn stars and OnlyFans people be treated like celebrities. since the dawn of prostitution and sex work, they've been treated like second-class citizens because we have looked down upon promiscuity.
Because
Only
the men were
now
in
they're being
charge
propped
of
up
the
like heroes.
Yeah, but the men were in charge of the industry back then.
Men are still in charge of the industry. Do you not think that men are pulling the strings and they're putting and propping women up and they're using them for their own financial gain and women are just puppets?
I mean,
who owns OnlyFans?
I know,
A man or a woman?
a woman now.
A woman owns OnlyFans?
No.
Yeah, the guy who set it up, he's English. He started another platform. He's stepped away.
Okay.
There's
who
lots
owns
of platforms
who
run
owns
by
the
women.
majority
There's
of the
lots
porn companies? Men or women?
But things are changing. I think that's why you're a little bit threatened by that.
What am I
Because we
threatened
now
by?
got autonomy over the industry.
What am I threatened by? What? No, I don't give a
know. Why
fuck
does
if
it bother
women
you
have
so much?
autonomy in the porn industry. No, I'm just making a point. I don't
Why
give
does
a
it
fuck.
bother you?
What does what bother me?
The industry.
The porn industry?
Well, all of it.
All of what? You got to be specific. I don't know what you're
Okay.
talking about.
Onlyfans, selling pictures.
Because I think it's
platforms, streaming
predatory.
sites.
I think it's predatory, and I think it's bad for both men and women.
So if
I
you're
think
an alcoholic,
social
don't go
media.
to the pub.
I don't
If you've got a gambling problem, don't go online. Don't go to Vegas.
See, Francesca, those are the musings and the words of somebody that has no experience with addiction or doesn't have anybody in their life that's ever experienced addiction ever. It's very easy to say that, but I don't think that you've ever dealt with anybody. So, but if you really had and you knew what addiction was, I don't think you'd be so flippant about it. I don't think you would sit there and say things like, if you're an alcoholic, just stay home. Just don't go to the bar. Just go to the bar. Just don't have a drink. Right. Like
most alcoholics
and it's also
are
different.
drinking at
like,
home alone.
Right. You can, and you don't even need to go to the store and buy Playboy now. You can just go on your phone. It's so
the point
easy.
is to villainize that industry and put it alongside drug dealers and murderers. I just think is not a fair comparison. My point is anything can become addictive, and you can't close all the bars because some people.
Yeah, and to say that I mean, and I don't know if you're saying this, but I can still have traditional values just because my job is selling.
Well, that wasn't my question actually, but I'll let you finish. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean,
my question was this. Sorry, let me just reassert. Like my question was like, a traditional man generally values things like chaste, like not being out, like having your body be his and his only, not only to touch, but for his eyes only. So I was curious if you want a traditional man, and that's sort of the musings of a traditional man, like how those two things are not at odds with one another. That was the question that I was trying to make. Not demonizing or villainizing anybody. But I do think the porn industry is a dirty, disgusting business. Yes, I do think that it's dirty. I think it's like selling drugs.
I mean, I wouldn't.
But I think I don't know why we put drug dealers in jail, but we don't put pornographers in jail, because I think it's the same thing. I think that you're using an animalistic impulse that people generally can't control, especially if they become addicted, and then you use it against them for financial gain. I have the same problem with casinos and people that run those. Do you know that when
we also
people
talk
develop,
about the fact
like,
that there's bars in both types of facilities?
Sure, but the idea that like if you go and you're a gambler and maybe you lost all your money and you're like, you know what, I'm never going to go gamble again. They'll call you and say, hey, do you want us to fly you out to Vegas for free in our hotel, in our casino, and then give you a free $100 voucher so you'll come spend it in our casino and then lose your life savings in your house because we're preying upon you and we know that you're going to fold? It's terrible. I think they're all in the same vein.
Well,
I don't have a problem with just porn. I have a problem with all of
club
it.
Owners. I mean, it's all.
But clubs don't exist for the sole purpose of capitalizing on the animalistic impulses of the public.
They do.
I think it's completely different.
Yeah, they do. That's business, isn't it? It's a business. Why have a business if you're not going to make money? That's silly.
Francesca, I don't even know what you're talking about at this point. Like, you're just making arguments against.
How many businesses are there that are for the
what are you talking
betterment of
about?
people's lives?
There's plenty.
It's not the
Most of them, I'd say. Most of them,
I would say
say
most businesses are existing because there is a need that needs to be fulfilled, and I realize how that can be spun, but I think most people are trying to help people.
Not a need, a demand. I would say it's a demand, not a need.
What's the demand?
A demand is it could be a need. It could be a need, but it could also be a want too. So most businesses that you see, they're wants. So like, I don't need McDonald's. I don't need to go to. I'm in a parking lot. I'm so sorry, guys. That's why it's all dark. But I don't need to go to Cabela's. I don't need to go to McDonald's. I don't need to go to Starbucks. It's all convenience, access, and ease. And I'm sorry, I'm just a words person like that. Like, I like to make sure that we're all on the same page. But I think supply and like economics 101, right? Supply and demand. The demand for convenience is really high. So that applies to the porn industry as well. And that was my only point. Sorry.
And the porn industry is probably going to be around forever because there is a lot of horny dudes out there. And unless that demand goes away, the industry isn't going to disappear. Or unless it was made completely illegal, even then it would still happen illegally.
Yeah. And even though sometimes you realize, well, OnlyFans, like it's not porn, but with the AI now and who's purchasing your photos, you have no idea the power that they have and how much they can control. Next thing you know, like you're in a porn video, but like that's not even me, but it's my face, it's my body.
Yeah, someone said earlier, if guys had the ability to make money on OnlyFans like women do, they'd be all over it. The number of guys making AI OnlyFans accounts now because they can make photos that look exactly like hot women, unreal.
Yeah. Oh, AI
well, the problem is only a small percentage of men can do that, because if all men go do that, society collapses entirely.
Overnight.
So most men have to go do the things that keep all of this shit running.
Yeah, and thank God they do, right? Like, thank God men don't have the power just to take their clothes off and get millions of dollars
There's
overnight.
a lot of men that do, though.
But it's a small percentage.
Yeah,
Extremely small, like less than 1%. I mean, how many porn actors are men? It's like the same 7 guys, right? Like, there's not that many compared to the amount of porn actresses. There's not that many, right? Like, it's just not even in the realm. No, it's really not. Like, it's really not in the realm of conversation to sit here and say that men have anywhere near on it. They're not even in the same galaxy in terms of impact that they have on the industry as far as being able to do that or having that power. It's just not even the same.
about 6. Personally, I'm making money. A lot of money.
Out of how many millions of men? Out of 4.5 billion.
How many women do you know?
But you're also a model, so you're in that industry already, right?
I mean,
so you have access to those people.
They sell to other men, so.
So that's completely different. Even so.
Well, I mean.
But the difference is like. Go ahead.
It's an interesting question for the ladies that do modeling, right? And obviously, you can extrapolate it out as far as you want. But like, would you date? So, like, Kara, would you date a man that does OnlyFans, but his customers are men? Like, he does gay OnlyFans.
I wouldn't even date, and I've said this before on a broadcast on here. I don't want to date somebody who is on my OF. Like, I don't like. That's like no, because that means he's on other OFs. So that's not like I get.
No, so what I'm asking is, would you date a man who has his own OnlyFans, but like he makes gay content and sells it to men?
No, because that's not the type of guy I'm like after.
Because this is typically where like a lot of women that make content, right? They're like, oh, I wouldn't mind if a guy does it. Like, especially a lot of women that are actual whatever porn stars. They're like, well, I wouldn't mind if my husband did it or my boyfriend did it, but like then they do mind if he's doing it and it's gay.
No, I don't want it at all. Like, no. And if I find a guy, then I'll stop doing it because I don't want to have that. But for the time being, it's just my hustle.
The gay bard is just an extra nail in the coffin. you throw that on there, it's an obvious no.
Also, it's not that easy to work. The average person makes $150 a month. It's really not that easy.
Well,
Yeah, it seems like a dumb choice then.
That's one of the biggest scams, like lies we're telling young women about this whole thing, right?
But yeah, that is my problem
don't make
with
any money off of it.
That's my problem with OF. Is that side?
Is that girls don't get paid enough?
Well, no, it's like the average woman's going to have her body out there on the internet forever and make like $400
and be broke.
There's
That's the problem.
We need to get rid of the gender pay gap. Pay
pay the men for OnlyFans. Pay OnlyFans male models.
I would love it if you guys were earning just as much as us. We're not that insecure. We don't have a problem with you
women
making money on that.
Women aren't insecure. My goodness. All right, let's. What are we doing on time? We gotta keep this train moving. My goodness. Let's go to Jackie. Jackie, you said something interesting before the show that the intention for dating should be and sex. The intention for dating and sex should be for marriage only. So. And you said that comes from like kind of a religious background, but let's not talk about the religious standpoint. You said also like societally. So what do you mean by that? And why is this your stance?
Right. So really it's about restoring the value of family to society, but also the structure and the commitment and the role modeling that comes from having that intact family. And so that's kind of where, it's important in my mind, and the advice I would give to my daughter one day is that, don't be in a position where you could risk having a non-intact family, because it truly is, and kind of what I've seen, as a child of divorce, is that it messes up their life bigger than anything else. The family not being intact, having an absent father, having now, even two unavailable parents. Both my parents were unavailable. They both worked full time. Or having the mom be the leader of the home instead of the father, and how the competition and resentment comes from that. It really should be that sex, in my opinion, is used for an intentional decision, which is in the security of marriage. And really the whole value of this is protecting kids, because that's what's going to create our larger society in the future that we end up with.
But how is marriage a buffer for any of that? Because the divorce rate is 50%. So like at best, you're saying stay a virgin for a coin flip, and you might have an intact family, but you might not. There's a 50-50 shot. Like how is marriage insulating anybody from a broken up family? And especially when women are leaving men 70% of the time.
I was thinking about this earlier too. I think it really comes down to values of the two people. And one of our panelists mentioned earlier too that sometimes there's a fear of the husband trading up or leaving the woman for a younger version. And I really, even with that, I was thinking the security is not too much in the marriage, as in, I think you really can only find security in the values, in the shared values of two people. So for example, I'm dating an Indian gentleman. I'm 30, he's 36. His parents are still together. I think that's like a number one green flag. And it comes down to, sure, like men do crave sexual variety, and their sexual mating strategies are different, but at the same time, it's going to be about what he values, right? So in his culture, they marry for life. And that's something that he and his family and all the generations of his family value. And so matching those values of wanting to be a husband and wanting to be a father and wanting to never get divorced and, wanting to have those traditional gender roles, that's going to come down to the things that somebody values. And so I think if you can actually just pick a mate based on your shared values, that, in my opinion and in my experience, gives the most certainty. And I know you can't have security in an insecure world, but I would say that the values and having that value of not only marrying, but marrying for life is the safest bet on the gamble.
I would argue, though, even using your particular situation, that, like, especially in Indian culture, far different marriage-wise than we have in the West. And that somebody's willpower or desire to want to be married for life. I don't think people go into marriages expecting divorce. I think when people marry, they think this is going to be their only one, because marriage is choosing somebody for life. So I think that it's much more apt to say that the consequences and the societal shaming and the breaking apart of an entire family and shared resources, that's why arranged marriages or marriages in Eastern cultures last the way that they do. It's not because they're choosing to stay married. It's because the consequences of not being married are far worse than they are here in the US. So it's like, I don't know if anybody on this panel is familiar. I know the guys are, with the term Briffault's law, which is something that happens in, the animal kingdom, which essentially states, if a woman no longer derives value of being with a male and associating with that male, then no such association takes place. And so this idea is all like, we have the shared values, like we want to be married, but willpower is willpower and desire are really shitty when it comes to adherence. People want to lose weight, but they're not going to diet. Like, they want to be skinny, but they won't put down the pizza. So how does that reconcile if it's just two people want to do something? Maybe the rest of the panel can chime in on that question.
And then just before, we hand it off.
Yeah, please, you can answer too. Yeah.
Everyone else. I think I've heard too that love is a verb. It's not a thing, and it's an action, and it's a choice. And so really it comes down to that commitment, not just willpower. And then, kind of where willpower fails, there's that commitment, for example. He was actually telling me the other day that in India, where his parents are and everything, who also had an arranged marriage, and I think that's why, it's been successful and intact. He was saying that there is no such thing as a concept of a baby mama. There is literally no such thing as, I had a baby out of wedlock, and she's at the holiday, or she's not at the, family gathering at Christmas or whatever. Or I guess it'd be Diwali in this case. But yeah, those, just the concepts. And that's kind of one of the reasons that I, chose him over an American gentleman, because they do have those robust family values, generational patterns, but also really the commitment and the choice in addition to those values.
Well, we used to have essentially what was the Western version of arranged marriages, even in the US, not that long ago either. So kind of how it used to work in most Western societies was women were living with their father, and they were vetting suitors, and the dad had a veto hammer, a veto stamp, right? And the woman was like, I really like this exciting guy, I want to marry him. And dad was like, hell no, you're not marrying that guy. So we used to have something similar to arranged marriages, which was dad vetoes all the bad choices. And we should definitely go back to that. That would be great. That's essentially how I'm going to be operating with my daughters in the future. But we have this issue now. You talked about saving yourself for marriage, this kind of stuff, right? We have this issue where it would solve so many problems if all women refused to have sex until a man proposed and until they got married. But how do we get there, right? The 80 or 90% of women that won't essentially demand that, all of the men are I'm not doing this no sex thing for 2 years. I'm just going to go sleep with this random chick that'll give it up for free. So we've got this impossible problem to walk back now, essentially, I think.
I completely agree.
How many women here would listen to their dad if he said that he didn't like the guy that you were with? Okay, who here wouldn't? Francesca and Meg?
Oh, no, I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. It would depend.
Depend on how much she likes the guy.
I can't imagine my dad's saying that. So it's not his personality, but I would listen to him. What if you're really, really in love? It's difficult, isn't it? Love makes you do crazy things.
Yeah, that's why you should listen to your dad. Right? Like, isn't that why you should listen to your dad?
According to you, he was at work all the time. Mum was there doing all of it. Why does dad step in now at this point?
And what? Be the judge of your relationships?
Yeah, because he was never there. He was at work.
Why does
I feel if your dad wasn't there, I feel terrible for you. That's awful. I didn't.
He
know
was my
dad.
I'm talking about your hypothetical traditional.
I feel like
and you haven't been listening because I didn't say anything like that. Go ahead, Meg.
I feel like men know men, so they could spot from a mile away, like a dog, because he's probably a dog himself at some point in his life. Like, just saying. I'm not trying to be mean, but.
And it's like people make mistakes on who they date all the time. People make terrible decisions about who they sleep with, who they date, who they choose to associate with. Like, it's very rare that you can be in, like, I have guys that are like Spence and TC, two of my closest friends. If I'm making a bad call, they're going to let me know. I'm like, hey, I think I'm about doing this. They're like, I don't think so, dude. I think that's fucking stupid. You should reconsider that. Right. And I go, oh, what the fuck do these guys know? And then I go, I put them in that position and I put
my dad is a wonderful man. And he's always been around. I was talking about a hypothetical. I love my dad. He's amazing.
Oh, my dad's never been around. But if a guy, like, I don't even know my dad. But if there was a guy, and supposedly he had pure intentions, and supposedly he was like, "Yo, that guy's a dog. Like, definitely don't date that guy." I would probably listen to him.
You would? I wouldn't.
Well, this is kind of what it comes down to. Women only like men that are better than they are, that are more competent than they are, more charismatic, and a lot of times that are older, at least a few years, or at least more mature, right?
The dream.
I mean, women will chase guys that are not like that and complain about it, but generally they like guys that are more put together than they are. So basically 100% of the time, the men that a woman really likes are going to be better manipulators than the woman is. Like, a man who's better than you is going to be able to convince you he's someone he's not better than you're going to be able to discern it. So, like, this is where dad is ultimately the most important.
But
because
this is why
he has more experience doing that than that guy.
Caroline's nodding like she's got a few stories.
This is the reason why having a present dad is very important. When you say, like, oh, it's like a mom's job to, like, raise the kids, give birth, be at home, read a book. And, like, for me,
I said that about the first 4 years. Let's be really clear, because I don't want my argument to be misrepresented.
Yeah, you have to be very
I'm talking about. Well, I did, and I already said that. I said from the age from like 0 to 4, like a dad doesn't really need to be around that much. But actually 4 and beyond, it's very important that a dad is around, because a dad is generally the disciplinarian. Please stop interrupting, Francesca. Jesus. He is the disciplinarian. He is the leader. He is the example of a man for his son to grow up to be, or for his daughter to eventually find somebody similar to her dad to marry one day. So it's very important that he is around for the upbringing, and especially in later childhood and adolescence, and especially in early adulthood. I just said it's just not important for him to be around holding an infant, changing fucking diapers and babas all the time. It doesn't really matter. It's not a dude's deal.
But it would build a different type of bond with your kid, for sure. And being present is very important, and that's what, like, North America lacks nowadays.
I'm talking. There's data and statistics that show that kids need their mothers in the early stages in infancy and toddlerhood far more than they need their dads. And kids that have that tend to be better off. So anyway,
100%.
Continue with the point. I'm just saying, like, yes, dads need to be around. I agree.
This is why, like, men, they still, like, they have a lot to learn on being a present father, instead of just, like, having sex left, right, and center, and having kids with, like, every other person.
Yeah, but whose fault is it if a kid gets born?
And they're like, oh, I have, like, do you have a child? They're like, not that I'm aware of. Ha ha ha. It's not a fucking joke.
Yeah, but who ultimately decides whether a kid is born or not? The man or the woman?
So you want her to
The
go for an
woman.
abortion?
I'm just
You want
looking
her
for
to
an answer to the
kill-
question.
The
What I'm
woman.
saying is
The
that
woman.
if a woman is ultimately responsible for who she sleeps with and ultimately how many kids or which kids are brought into the world, who's more responsible for this deadbeat dad epidemic that we seem to be living through?
They're both
women.
equally.
How
The
is that?
women,
How
because
so?
We are the ones.
Jackie,
we
go
are
ahead.
the one. Yeah, women are the ones, and I blame my mom too for not having the dad that I would have loved, and how that has screwed me over in my life in 100 different ways. Yeah, that's like, really, that's who you chose to be my father. I didn't ask to be born or be in a broken family or listen to screaming for 20 years and run away and choose the wrong men and blah 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 and have to get baptized to feel like a good person, or you know what I mean. So yeah, it's the women. It's the women who choose who their daughters and sons get as a father, and it's completely up to the women. And also, I think that, you know, somebody just mentioned like who chooses if children are born. Unfortunately, it's the women, but I don't think women should be allowed to choose, because if you as a woman are choosing who you have sex with, you shouldn't be allowed to have an abortion because you already chose the behavior that will allow a child to come into the world. And that's why I'm like, yeah, definitely men in our government
What
should
if
be
she's
telling women if
raped?
they can have it or not, because we obviously can't think for ourselves, and now we're going to murder our own child. That's crazy.
So, okay, I'm just.
Go ahead, Kim. You asked about rape.
Yeah.
Which is a common exception that's brought up. So I'm curious if you know I'm curious if you I'm not saying it doesn't, but I'm curious if you know what percentage of abortions are due to elective versus rape or incest.
I don't, but with my
It's like
field,
96% elective.
no, the thing is like sex, which I love the idea of like waiting till marriage, 100% support that, but it's not just a transaction. And now we're making it sound like it's a transaction. Oh, like girls, they go to a bar, girls now they're picking men to have sex with, like a one night stand, vice versa. But like it's so much deeper than that. It's a spiritual thing. You're taking everything from that
Yeah,
individual
but
and
that's
carrying
your
it.
personal opinion about sex, and I don't think the vast majority of the human population would agree with you on that. I think casual sex is extremely common and it's run rampant. I think it's extremely common now. I mean, you have women in their teens that are running up notch counts into the triple digits. Maybe not that high, but it certainly could happen. It's not for a lack of trying. I mean, your average college woman could sleep with 100 dudes by the time her 4 years are done. Easy. And it's common. It happens everywhere all the time. So, I mean, society doesn't necessarily, or those views are generally not shared. Like, people are having sex out of wedlock all the time, casual hookups all the time, multiple abortions all the time.
That's crazy. If you can't be protected, it would be delusional to think that you can be protected from a consequence of your action when every action has a either positive, neutral, or negative consequence. So if you agree that you're going to have sex, you should not be allowed to have an abortion. And if you need a man or the government to tell you that, or the baby daddy or whatever, it shouldn't be left up to the women, because clearly they can't make a decision for themselves. But also, in the case of rape, that would be an abortion. That would be an adoption scenario, not an abortion scenario. You don't solve one crime with another crime that's going to haunt you for the rest of your life. Women regret that for their entire life.
Okay, and then that kid's gonna grow up and trying to like look for their parents because they want to know why they gave up for adoption, and then that's gonna haunt you for the rest of your life.
So being dead's
I don't know
better?
if I'm allowed to talk, but that is
Go
so
ahead,
wrong in
Francesca.
so many different ways.
Like,
What's wrong?
So
Well, go
wrong.
on. What do you mean? What are we talking about?
That's
What are you referring to? What's wrong?
It's just wrong. You just can't.
What is?
I don't know. I just think you guys like to put everything into boxes. You can't. It's not black and white. Life is not black and white. There's grays. There's underage girls that end up pregnant. You're going to force her. There was that poor woman who was dead, and she was made to carry on being, deliver her baby. You can't be like, no, you. Oh my God. Yeah. Wow.
But
yeah.
go ahead,
no,
Spence.
Francesca, of course. edge cases like that.
If you don't
or
want a
edge cases
child,
where
man
someone's
or
getting
woman, you
raped.
do something about it.
Well, man can't do anything if he doesn't want to have a child. He has no
Well,
recourse. He has no rights.
To be fair, Moff,
To have sex.
the man can control that ahead of time.
Yeah.
But the woman is the ultimate decider if a kid is born or not. That's my entire
But not
point.
always. This is the
Yes,
point that one of
always.
the
What do you
girls is
mean?
making.
But
But
what?
not
If
always.
a woman doesn't want a kid to be born, a kid will not be born. If a man doesn't want a kid to be born, he has no choice on whether that kid is born or not.
Okay.
Yeah, but
If-
he
if
could
But
he-
the man can still decide
No.
before the woman gets pregnant, though.
That's
Yeah,
not
men
like-
need
it's
to
not like
take
a man never has a
responsibility for
choice.
their own.
He doesn't have a
actions.
say. He doesn't have a say on whether a kid is ultimately born or not the way that a woman does. If a woman gets pregnant and doesn't want to have the kid, but the man does, guess what happens? The kid isn't born. If a woman gets pregnant and wants the kid, but the man doesn't, guess what? The kid is born. Men have no recourse after that. They are not the final decision maker. They can choose not to have sex, sure, but that's both. But that's both of them together that are making a unified choice. But once it's over and past that, the man has no choice after that whatsoever. His part is done.
Yeah, women would not be banging the abortion drum if men had the same rights as them. So if a man got a woman pregnant and then decided, actually, I'm not ready to be a dad, and he could abandon all responsibility, she could never come
Not
after
pay
him
child
for money.
support.
With this whole abortion thing would be done. There'd be no conversation.
But it's not only,
What
you
do
know,
you mean?
in addition to that, it's not just that. It's the grandparents have lost a grandchild as well. I mean, that's the thing. Murder is never the answer. Like it's not morally
I
correct.
don't
It's not
think-
God's will. It's not good for the women. It's not good for the people who want to adopt a child and could have helped with that. I mean, it's being artificially protected from a consequence that you deserve to have.
I think people should be able to decide what they do with their own bodies.
But she already did by having sex.
Well, you could say the same thing, right? So, Francesca, do you think if a man gets a woman pregnant and he decides he's not ready to be a dad, he should be able to abandon all financial and legal responsibility for the child?
No.
So,
But I think being a dad's
why
more
can a
than
woman? Because the dad is going to be compelled to labor with his body.
But being a dad's
Yeah,
more than
it's
just money,
your
isn't it?
child. That's the least that you can do. You're not going
Right,
to present
but the
that.
argument always is
Why do you not
a
want to
woman
spend
should
time
get to
with your
choose
child
what,
if you agreed to have sex? Why do you not want to see your child?
right,
Why are
that's
you
a
so
totally
bothered
separate
about
thing.
your money? Why is it all about
That's a
money? all
totally
the time?
separate thing, right? You said people should be able to choose what happens to their body. They should have choice over what they do with their body, right? So a woman, well, depending on where you are, may or may not have this choice, right? If she can or can't get an abortion, but nowhere does a man have the choice over what happens to his body. Like if he's put on child support and forced to work for 22 years or 26 years for a child that he didn't want.
I don't
And then
know
you
how
could
it's
say, well, he shouldn't have had sex. Well, if she didn't want a kid, she shouldn't have fucking had sex either.
Yeah, so it's again back to the team effort. But I don't know if it's different in America, but you only pay out of what you're earning. You're not forced to work. You only pay.
Right. So
I mean,
you
if
could
you don't have
still
a
have to
job-
work
live
to
off
make
the
money.
government. You could live off the government if you didn't want to pay child support.
Yeah,
But
that's
if you
what I
go
mean.
to
So,
work,
but you're not.
they're coming with guns to take your money. And if you refuse to pay it, you're going to jail.
But you have to have a job first, right? You don't.
Right.
You're
So
not
if you don't have a
forced to go
job,
to
then
work.
what happens?
Yeah,
right?
but who wants to
Then
live on
another man
government
has to pay for you
assistance?
to eat. Another man's
Correct.
forced at gunpoint to pay for you to eat because you don't have a job as a man.
I just think it's a bit different between that and medical decisions made over your
Right.
body.
So I
Like we could
actually
all decide that all
agree.
men should be sterilized, and then you can choose to unsterilize yourself, and us women will all get together and we'll decide what you're going to do with your downstairs area.
Right, but the
And you've
issue
got
is
no
you
say.
can't do that.
Sterilize all men.
But that's not
Sterilize
even
all
the
men.
issue.
We'll
It's
be
not even
fine
the
until we
core
decide
argument.
we're ready.
It's like money.
See, here's the issues. You can't do that because even if women voted for that, they
Good
would
luck.
have to compel men to go and force that upon other men.
Well,
Women will
do
always
things
need
all the
men
time
to
we don't
do
wanna
their
do.
bidding. Like you have,
Yeah,
like,
I actually have no
if
problem
rights
with.
are given to you by somebody, you don't have rights. Like that's really what this boils down to. If your rights are contingent on somebody enforcing them on your behalf, you don't have rights.
Yeah, I've got no problem with like the idea of healthcare, right? Like if we're doing procedures that are actually healthcare, that's a different thing than an abortion,
Some
right? Some
abortions
people
are
call them the
healthcare.
same thing, but
Some abortions are healthcare, though.
right, like
Women have to cross
if the
state
baby's
lines because they're
if it's
gonna
an
die.
ectopic pregnancy or something, or like the baby is dead already inside the woman, like this is healthcare, right? But that is 1% of abortions.
Right.
But there's a lot of stories of that happening, and also women being arrested for like miscarriages and stuff like that.
What?
That's crazy. Yeah,
Women are being arrested for having miscarriages?
yeah. There was a couple of stories.
Please send that to me because
Yeah.
I've never
Yeah,
heard of
I'll send
that
you it.
ever.
I'll send you it.
And I can't possibly believe how that could ever fly in a court.
To just kind of round it out, I think the worst, something I have heard, because I've been coaching women for the last 5 years, and one of the most unfortunate scenarios that I've heard is, unexpected pregnancy out of wedlock, and the woman's pregnant, and she goes to the gentleman and says, "I'm pregnant. What do you think?" And he's like, "It's up to you." That is like the worst, because then in this case that I know about, the woman went ahead and was like, okay, well, he wasn't exactly happy that we're pregnant, and he wasn't like, I'm going to propose and make an honest woman out of you and let's be a family. So basically I felt like he wanted me to get the abortion, so I did. And now I've wondered if I'm going to go to hell. I don't think I'll ever get into heaven. I worried I wouldn't be able to have it. God wouldn't bless me with more kids after that. I feel like a murderer. So that's the worst part, is when the woman fails herself and makes a decision, and then also there's no leadership, and then the man actually like lets her further fall. So that's like kind of another example of it's not up to the woman. We need somebody, someone or something to tell us what's the right thing to do, because murder is never the answer.
But she will go to heaven, and God still loves her.
That's up to him. But
Yeah,
murder
because
is not
God looks
God's
at,
will.
God sees the heart. God sees the heart. She'll be there. I'll tell her myself. Pass her details on to me. Yeah. I think we know what to do with our own bodies. Am I the only one who has children here?
I believe so.
Seems that way.
Yeah. When I had my children, it was the most spiritual, like I felt like my eyes were so open to what it was like for a woman, like the power that we have to create life, birth life, and all those things. I felt like it was like Lion King, like,
What
I was
about
like, oh my
that is
God.
unique, Francesca? Like every woman on earth is born with the ability to have children. Like, why does that make, like, it's not a miracle if it happens 20 million times a day. Like
Yeah,
what?
but it
Like
is
what's so?
though. Like
How?
when you know about biology, and it just blows your mind. Everything from like breastfeeding, and I've trained as a birth support person, so I've done all that as well. So I know a lot about that. And it's incredible. And the first thing that I did was like, I need to let women know how powerful this feels and is, and to kind of help dispel the fear that surrounds it, and that we do know, and to trust our own instincts, because the primal brain is what gives birth, but when we work in the logical brain so much, kind of disturbs the birthing process and all that kind of thing. So it's being in tune and listening to that. So we definitely don't need men to tell us what to do with our own bodies, because we know our own bodies. We are capable. We've been birthing since world began. So
Sounds like a pro-life stance to me.
It's not even the argument, and this is why I hate
but
talking
this is
about
it.
this.
Everything's grey, right? So
Because
some
it's
things
no,
I'm
it's
agreeing with
because
what you're saying.
both
Some
sides
things,
are arguing two completely different things. the women on one side are saying we need to control our bodies, and the other side is saying the baby has a right to live. There's nobody on earth that is pro-life that will tell you to your face, you don't deserve to choose what happens to your body. It's a cop-out argument because women, it's a cop-out argument. It's not even the argument. Nobody is telling women you're not allowed to do with your own body. It's an argument they're making up. That's not even the argument. That's
Someone
why.
just said we don't know what we're doing with our bodies, and we need someone to tell us what to do with our
Well, if
bodies.
you think you can
Is
make
that
a
what you
choice
think I
to
just
have
said
no
just now after I
No,
just
not
said
you.
that?
No, that's what Jackie said. Jackie
Yeah,
she's
if you
talking
think
about
you can
well,
do if you think as a woman that a sperm can meet an egg and not create an embryo, you need to be told what to do.
Yeah, but the sperm came first. And like when we say rape is fine, what if someone was raped by their father or their uncle or like a family member and she's like 12, 13? These stories do exist. So
There's lots
now
of
she's
them.
obligated to keep the child.
Well, we're not talking about that.
Yeah, but
I
we
don't think
are.
anyone
When you
said
say
it.
rape,
I
that's
don't
like a
think anyone
partnership.
said it's fine.
Well, I still, in any case, rape included, to be clear, don't think that murder or abortion is the right thing to do.
So we keep the child.
Disgusting.
but if you listen to the argument, she didn't say anything about women aren't allowed to choose what to do with their body. It's about the child has the right to live under whatever circumstances. And again, I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm just trying to say this is what the argument is.
Well, none
That's
of us can play God as well. That's the thing.
Wow. What are we doing? How are we doing on time? Why don't we do this as we start? Because it's been 2 hours. And hey, look,
What happened?
it happens. Why don't we go around one more time? Like, did the ladies have any questions for me or Spencer or TC? Or do you guys have any questions about the male brain and what we think about dating for the last, maybe we go around the last couple of minutes here.
So, Moff, are you dating?
What do you mean?
Are you dating? That's it. Like, do you
Well,
have
I meant like philosophically, not like what's your phone number, Moff. I'm not here to give out like personal information or I tell anybody. Why are you asking that? Well, let me ask this. Why do you ask?
Because I don't know. I mean, I just think that's a good question. Like, how do you view dating? Right now?
In what context?
Like
Like
right
for me
now.
personally, or just in general? Again, like how do I view dating? Like, do I think it's good? Do I think it sucks? Like what do you mean? Is that the question is?
I mean, sure. I'm just like, yeah, trying to get your side of like everything.
Well,
This is about dating.
I think that relationships function the best when there is a clear leader in the household and the leader is the man. I think that the man has final decision making on everything that goes on in that relationship. And he should find a woman that is going to be, a man should be 100% focused on his mission. And the woman in that relationship should be 100% focused on helping her man achieve that mission. That's the best possible relationship that I think you could possibly have. Man is about his purpose. The woman is about the man. He makes the decision that is going to better the purpose and in so forth is going to be better for the relationship. And as long as she's helping him reach the mission, then they're both moving in the same direction. And that's as good as it can possibly get. Guys have blind spots and guys might need help from an advisor or say, hey, what do you think about XYZ? What do you think about ABC? And they may disagree on the path forward, but at the end of the day, the guy makes the final decision. And that also means that if he has authority, he has the responsibility for making the right call. And if he makes the right calls, great. If he makes the wrong calls, then she may find a reason to not be in that relationship anymore. But I don't believe in 50-50. I don't believe in yin and yang in terms of equal value in this thing. I don't necessarily think that women can be high-powered and work careers and jobs and be great mothers. I think there's two jobs or two roles that require 100% commitment and effort. And you're seeing actually now women that are getting into being their 40s and 50s that are doing these high-powered careers and trying to raise kids that are extremely unhappy. That's what I think about relationships in general as a whole.
Thank you.
I would love to hear from you gentlemen, like, what is your love vision? You know, are you thinking marriage? Are you thinking dating? Like, what looks ideal for each of you? Like, maybe 3 things that you'd love to see, but like, truly, like, what's your love vision for yourself?
Love vision. It's a good one.
I have never drawn up like a vision board and made like love the center of it. So
Like, you want to be fathers, you want to be like, is this part, you see it being part of your mission, or, you know, that I don't know personally if you are, you know, like, hey, we're career minded, you know, purpose driven, or we see like our purpose also including wife and kids.
Yeah, my next 10 years is lots of kids, homestead, getting away from all like the weird gay woke shit that's in our society, and raising my sons how I wish I was raised. I have lovely parents, but very, you know, kind of bought into the Kool-Aid, right? Like the modern bullshit, happy wife, happy life, and you know, all this shit. So like, I had lovely parents, but I want to be the father to my sons that I wish my dad could have been to me if he knew what I knew. And then similarly, like, I've dated a lot of women, and I've dated a lot of women that have not had good fathers, especially when I was in my 20s and I was just like doing whatever the hell I wanted, you know, just like running through women essentially. The only reason I could do that is because all these women had no father figures. So like, I want to protect my daughters from essentially finding like the 22-year-old version of me, right? Like, I see what this does. And for me, that will be multiple wives. So.
Oh,
he's dead serious. Don't even laugh. He's 100%
No, I watched
serious.
Sister Wives, and I've seen
I can't
Sister
wait
Wives
to see what happens.
20 seasons, and I'm like,
People think it's crazy, but this is the way.
This man is
I understand
100% serious.
This is the way.
Been holding myself for so long.
So do you have like a vision of what each wife is gonna encompass?
No, I mean, like, there's gonna be, like, I have multiple women in my life currently that are,
do they know about the?
Yes, they're like, this is the fucking way. They're like, I'm on this train, I hope it never stops, keep going that way.
Is one out of the 3 or however many you have is like the one that gives the better sex, like one cooks better, like what are you
Here,
like?
this is a family show. I can't believe you would ask such a thing.
I think different personalities is good. But no, like, I used
What's the
I
org
used to-
chart?
You can't
of
find
family?
one woman that encompasses all of that.
No, here's the thing is that I want
It's for
like
the
at
streets.
least, I want like at least 10 kids. And like,
PJ, I
I'm
thought
on
that
the
was
road a
illegal.
lot. Huh?
I thought that was illegal. You
What?
can't have multiple wives.
You can't get married through the state to multiple people. But I think
What's
getting
that
married
anyway?
through the state is retarded anyway.
So what to do with international?
So
I'm just
like,
thinking, like,
why would I be
everyone,
why would I be signing a contract with the state about what happens to my household if the woman I'm with changes her mind? That's crazy, right?
I agree with you, vice versa as well. But how?
But yeah, I mean,
Again, what woman is going to give the like? How do you have the breakdown of children? Like this woman is going to birth 3
they're
children.
all going to have as many as they can. And that's like the most important thing for me. So I'm not, you're like, oh, is one of them really good at sex? I'm not interested in that at all. Right? Like, I don't care. The most important thing for me is when I ask a woman, especially if it's like a new woman that I'm talking to, how many children do you want? And if they're like, I want as many as possible, that's like the biggest green flag to me. She's like, oh, maybe 2 or 3. I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't need it.
So you're like pro polygamy. You want to be a
No,
No?
polygyny.
Polygyny. Wait, no.
Polygamy
What's
is
the difference?
multiple spouses.
Right. Well, isn't polygamy multiple wives?
That's polygyny.
But no. Polygamy was with multiple wives. And that's
Well,
what
it could be a woman with multiple men also.
polygyny is, but polygamy is one man with many women.
You got it flipped.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, it's flipped around.
Okay, well, sure. So, but you want to have all these women.
And not all these women. It's like 2 or 3.
Just 3 of them.
That's enough. We're not going more than 3. We're gonna
Yeah,
have.
my God, who can deal with more than 3?
I'm just
Good
like, I'm really trying hard not to laugh because that sounds like such an insane life. I cannot imagine. But you want to have like, you have 3 kids, you have 3 kids, you have 3 kids. I'll have 9 kids at the end of the day and call it good. Like, are you going to support all those kids? I mean,
Of course.
Are you going to make all these, like, how is that going to work?
Yeah, the women are going to stay home or they're going to work for me in the capacity of a business that I have that they can do this help while they're at home.
And none of them are legally protected by you. They're not. There's no like legal marriage. It's just you being with them.
Well, I guess
like 3
they're going to have to take my word for it. But yeah, that's my job, right?
So are you just gonna skip like houses each night? Like I'm gonna be at this
one
family compound.
This is
No,
everyone
I have
acts
a
like this
question.
is fucking
I have a
crazy.
question.
I can't believe we didn't bring this up.
I
an
love
hour
these
ago.
questions.
So bad.
I've got a question. How are you gonna not be that fatherless household that you're talking about repeating when you're gonna have so many kids? How are you gonna juggle it all? How are you gonna be a dad to those daughters so you don't repeat history? If there's so many of them, you can't divide yourself like that. You're just gonna repeat
It's
history.
going to be one household.
No, but you can't divide yourself emotionally
live
to
in the
be
same
a supportive dad.
So can a man not, like, if a man has 10 children with one woman, is that a problem? Like, is he not able to
probably.
be the dad?
It's difficult.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult, and I think
It'll
that
be
is
even
good.
more difficult and
That's gonna
weird
make
when they're
me
like,
into
"Hey,
an
I
even
grew up
better
with
man."
3 mums," and I think
Oh, you
it's
have
just
mom
gonna
and you
be
have 2 aunties.
repeating itself. History.
TC, I have a
I
question.
mean, this has been most of human history.
Yeah, this is how it's
women
been
sharing men.
forever.
Firearms.
I mean, in Islam, you're allowed to have 4 wives, so I can understand that. But there's like a huge rule on it. So, but we're not gonna go into the religion part. But what made you come up with this beautiful idea that you were like, okay, I'm gonna have 3 wives? Like, is it because you cannot commit to one individual, or you just want to have someone like productive system?
Right? Why?
No, I mean, I saw like how this dynamic can work very well before I even wanted children. So like I was in like some thruples and stuff like this when I was a degenerate in my 20s. So I've seen like that this when it's aligned on shared values and having a family, and like men's duties and women's duties, how it can be a very productive relationship when it's not based on sex and parties and all this kind of shit that those types of relationships are usually based on. But yeah, like this, I want a lot of kids. I think that's good for society. I think it's good for me. I think it's going to make me into a better man through the process as well. And I welcome that challenge. But yeah, it's like I could have 10 children with one woman, right? But then she needs to be very young. She needs to be like 19 when we start talking, right? To even be going down this road. And then also, like, I'm on the road a lot, right? So, and we don't, like we talked about earlier, we don't have the same type of communities that we used to have. And I'm going to be trying to create a community like that around my family as best I can anyways. But if I'm on a trip, like if I'm in the backcountry for 5 days, which is something I need to do as a man to be a better leader, to be a better provider, to be a better father, and it's one woman at the house with 10 kids, like maybe I have to hire an au pair then. But then, like, what's the au pair? She's going to come raise my children and then go home to some man that needs her working and have kids with him. No, like she should just move into the house and have kids with me. Why would she like go work for some man that needs extra money raise my children and learn my values, and then go home and like have her kid. Like, it's all crazy. So this is like the logical progression for a man that wants a lot of children, I think.
You convinced me. I'm gonna have 3 husbands too.
Well, see,
Me
that's
too.
work that way.
How
Can't work
did
that
you
way.
say
Unfortunate.
that? Are you crazy?
Yeah, think of all the washing up that's gonna get done, the hoovering.
They'll do all of it. It's fine.
Yeah, can't wait. I'm doing it.
See,
Let's do it.
Wow.
if you could have 3 children a year with 3 different men, or like even like if you could have 10 children a year, if you had 3 husbands, then it's something like we could entertain the logistics of this, right? But that's not our biology.
You can't have 10 kids with 3 different women a year.
No, but you could do it in 3 years.
Yeah. I'll give him 1 child a year each.
He wants
I'm
10.
hoping for
One
I'm hoping
year.
for success.
Wants a baseball team.
You get a child, you get a child. I'm gonna skip you this year. I need to recover.
When you think about the consequences for the children, they're not like, they're gonna be like, oh, this is my half brother, this is my half sister.
This is mom number 1.
It
this
happens
is
all the
mom
time.
number 2.
People have stepchildren and step siblings all the time. What's worse, to go to school and say, hey, this is my sibling and I have a mom and an auntie, or like, hey, don't bring up that picture of my mom's asshole again from her OnlyFans days?
I don't know. It's a kid's bullying
Come
about
on,
everything.
Mom.
If you said I've got 3 mums
That's what I'm
and a dad, you're
saying,
gonna
right?
get
Like,
bullied.
we're talking about this moral posturing about, oh, what are they going to say about the kids? And it's like, what do you mean? What are all the kids like? You're going to go to school and they're going to have their moms pulling up porn. Like, what are we talking about?
It's
Anything
literally
that's
possible
different,
to
kids
raise
bully.
We're all of a
10
sudden
kids.
worried about the children, but we're not worried about it when they can pull up pictures of
Kids
their
are cool,
mother
they'll
and
pick on
jerk off
anything.
at school.
I'm very no. I'm very no.
But what's the like? But that's, you don't see how that's the
Anything
similar
that's
thing. How is it different, Francesca?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with a lot of kids that like they had a sibling from their parents' first marriage, and then like they had step siblings because they moved into, their parents got divorced, they moved into stepdad's house, and then like mom and stepdad had 3 more children, and then like they got divorced, and then like dad went and found a 20-year-old and had 4 children with her. And I'm like, and like, it's so dysfunctional and split, and there's so many conflicts. It's just like, it just damages children to like.
Right.
And you don't think your
big
scenario
family
is going to
unit.
be damaging? You don't think your scenario will be damaging at all to
No, the
women?
damaging is because the kids have like stepdad and dad, and mom doesn't respect dad, and like the kid doesn't want to listen to stepdad. And then like they're getting transferred between houses, and one parent doesn't make them do the homework and the other parent does make them, like, it's a mess. And a lot of kids go through this.
How are you going to be a husband, though?
Hold on. Aaron, go ahead.
Sorry.
So with having say you have 3 girlfriends and 10 kids, how do you intend on giving them like legal protection if something were to happen to you? You know, so
Well, I have a life insurance policy.
well, sure, but
A
like
very large one.
all of the like the legal benefits of marriage that you can't extend to 2 of the 3 women that you're with. Also, like all the kids, I want to just think, do you think that, let me rephrase. Do you think by not getting married, by having this type of like arrangement, do you think that it's going to benefit these kids, or is it just something that you want to do? Like, do you think
Definitely not what I want to do.
Well, do you think that it's going to help them in the long run, this arrangement, or is it just something that like, I want to have a lot of kids and I don't want to commit to one person and I don't want to be monogamous? I'm not.
Well, I have no issue being monogamish, essentially, which is what most men are.
But it sounds like you don't want
the legal aspect, like, I'm not going to the state courthouse and signing a document that says, you know, whatever the state of California is going to decide what happens if my wife leaves me for another man. That's crazy. But like, if something happens to me, it's very like my life insurance policy and everything I own, all of my assets, can easily be put into a 3-way trust. that if I die, it goes 3 ways to the 3 women. Or it could be like 20%, 40%, like depending on how many children each of them have with me, right? So like there's, you can just have a legal document that does exactly the same thing as a marriage certificate does. And you can actually, like, even married people should go get an extra legal document to do this, because the default process it goes through, like, if your spouse dies, is not good anyways. It sucks.
What if, like, in the future, you're going along with life and then you decide, hey, I met this new person and I want to bring them into our situation. And so we're going to have 4 of you all, and I'm going to start to have more kids with this other person. Like, if you are just running the show and they don't have any say, it's just like, so where does it end? You know what I mean?
No, so here's the thing is that, like, the women that I'm with, and potentially another one, like, they think this is the best anyways. Otherwise, they wouldn't be like, sign me up. This sounds great.
So they're already in, like, agreement, obviously, with you about the whole thing. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, right. Like, I don't have them at gunpoint, right? I'm not like, you're gonna accept this.
Well, sure. But also, if you're like, I've decided I'm going to just do what I want, I'm going to go have sex with this new person and bring them in, and I'm going to start to have kids with this new person. It's like, well, we don't even have like it just seems like a violation between, it seems impulsive to me. Like, it just.
Yeah, that's it's a common, like, reaction, right? I think most men find themselves with these types of desires out of, like, a sexual lust motivation.
Right.
And, like, that was my desire when I was in my 20s, and when I was basically just being a degenerate, where I, like, looked for long-term relationships where the woman either also liked women, so we could bring women in, or, like, where they didn't care if I was stepping out. And, like, that's not where this is coming from. If I wanted to do that, I would not be, like, essentially burdening myself with 10 kids and 3 women that I'm actually responsible for, right? Like, if a man's dating multiple women, he's not actually responsible for any of that. Like, he has no investment, right?
It's very interesting to me because for you, I'm hearing your goal is like, I want to raise 10 kids. I want to raise them the proper way and be a present dad. But if you take a step back out of the box and you look at it, we're dealing with 10 kids that they grow up believing that's the norm. So now women, when she has her partner cheating on her or like trying to add someone else to the relationship, you're like, oh, that's normal because my father did it. And now we're having men that they want to have that and apply it on other women's life. Because for me, if like my partner comes in and be like, well, I want to have like 5 wives, it's a no. Because I saw a father figure.
Do you think there's something fundamentally wrong with religions that have multiple wives?
No, because I am Muslim and it tells us you're allowed to have 4 wives, but there's a very specific condition. Now, the average individual, all that they hear is like, oh, men are allowed to have 4 wives. The Prophet said you have to love them and treat them all equally, which is impossible. Therefore, you don't find a lot of Muslim men marrying 4 wives because you actually.
Not only is it impossible, I believe it's also irresponsible as a man. So if you have 3 wives and one of them is being a fucking bitch for no reason, you can't treat her the same way as your 2 wives that are acting like good women.
But you're not the
punish
price.
her in some way.
You're not the price, and you're not a king. That they're like slaves for you every single day to entertain you. Happy wife, happy life. Like when we talk about religion, right? The religion is like for you to take care of your wife, to protect her, look after her, and honor her.
That's what he's doing.
So she's acting one day, she's like dealing with postpartum or like whatever she's going through. Or she's being a bitch, like, now, okay, well, next I have 2 other wives to entertain me. Well, who's entertaining her?
if she's acting badly, the first thing obviously is to lead and guide, right? Like, I will try to pull her out of that with spontaneity and with fun and with charm and charisma. If that doesn't work, we're gonna have to I'm gonna have to point her face at it in a loving way, right? And if that doesn't work, I have to do something else about it. Like something must be done. And this is like women do this to men, right? When a man isn't the man she wants him to be, she's out the fucking door filing for divorce.
I'm not glorifying this woman. If she wants a divorce, the door's right there.
But that's the problem, right? Like women will leave a dude at the drop of a hat. And we know this because they're divorcing men 70 to 80% of the time. Like I hear this a lot. Like I think the reason why women are so gung-ho about marriage is because it's an insurance policy. Because you want to make sure that you're taken care of if a guy decides he wants to leave, if he wants to bounce on you. And it's like, it's just, that to me is kind of like a cover in your ass thing. It's like, do you want to be married? It's like, is it not good enough that is my word not good enough to say like, I'm going to be with you forever, or I'm going to be with you, or I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to provide for you. And I've also shown you over X amount of years through my actions that I do what I say I'm going to do and that sort of thing. So like, why do we need to invite the government and the state into our relationship so they can be the Gestapo and tell me what happens to me or my family or my money when I decide that I might not want to be with you anymore? And why do they have a say? Like, and because you can do the exact same thing. You can wake up one day and say, yeah, I don't want to do this. But in terms of divorce, like the man almost always is the loser when it comes to divorce. And we're not talking about a couple of dollars. We're talking about his whole livelihood.
100%. I agree with you. And I'm super against this 50-50. I've never heard of it until I moved to this country. But like for us, I'm like, there is a deposit. And if we ever split at the end, there is a certain amount of money that you have to pay her. I think that's fair.
They can work out between the two of them.
Yeah, and
he shouldn't be compelled by the government to do that.
For sure. Like the government is like out of the picture. It shouldn't even be a conversation. But yeah, men are screwed here when they're dealing with a divorce.
And this is like the uncomfortable truth that a lot of people don't want to talk about. Like we currently have 50% of women are on track to not have children in the West. And like a far smaller percentage of women don't want children. It's probably under 10%. If you got rid of all the conditioning and the bullshit that's on young women's heads, it's probably under 5%. And one of the reasons all these women aren't having children is because they're all unknowingly in unserious polygynous relationships with the top shelf men. They're all just sharing men and can't get commitment. So like for Jackie, and maybe our other religious ladies, this is like Isaiah 4, right? Polygyny is the prescription.
I'm feeling so lucky right now. I swear to God, I have a traditional provider, generous, like I'm so happy, honestly. But thank you so much also, TC, for sharing that with us, because it was, I'm sure you have mentors that you have already gone through second reviews and everything with. So this is like totally not on us to like poke holes in your theory.
Everybody told him no except me.
Well, a bunch of guys that are doing this or have done this said like no, but they didn't say don't do it. They said, don't do this and this and this and this and this and this because it causes these and these and these and these and these and these problems. It's like I'm going into this, my eyes wide open. I know what's
Francesca,
coming.
Sorry, TC, go finish your point. I didn't know if you were finished. Like, Francesca, did you have one final question?
Go ahead.
No, I mean, I think we've probably moved on. But it was just because obviously I run a wedding venue. So I'm involved in about 150 weddings a year. So marriage is alive and well, guys. Don't worry. But I think it's interesting because I feel like a lot of how we think and feel, we're products of our own algorithm and what gets fed into us. We're very tunnel vision and we don't hear the other side of the coin, or, we have opinions on what it is to be a woman, but we're not a woman, or feminism, but we've never listened to a feminist podcast, that kind of thing. But I am out in the world and I'm seeing people every weekend get married and commit to someone for the rest of their lives. And I think it's really interesting because you hear all these podcasts about how this is what women want and this is what men want. But I see people rich, poor, different body shapes, different personalities, different, stages of their life, with children, without children, getting married. I can do up to 3 weddings a day on a Saturday, and they're getting married. So I'm seeing with my own eyes people finding love, which actually we should take as hope, really, because that's the real world.
Francesca,
but
That's really
this
what's
you're
would be
happening.
like
seeing
me.
weddings. Like, you
Yeah.
have no idea if those people stay together for a year or 5
I
years
do,
or 10 years
actually.
or 25 years. Like, you have
I
no
do.
idea the success rate of every marriage that you've ever been a part of. You just can't possibly, especially if you've done hundreds of them. We have the
Well, by the
statistics
time the
about
wedding,
marriages not working out. Like, we have the data.
by the time
Because you've seen marriages with your own eyes, you're just assuming that
Mm.
marriage is a good thing because you're seeing two people, especially when it's supposed to be the happiest day in the cell. It's like saying, like, I know this person's happy because I saw them on their birthday and they got a bunch of gifts and presents and cake and candy and stuff. Like, that's the argument you're making right now. You're not seeing
No,
them for
it's
the other
not.
364
I
days a
mean,
year.
It's two different things. It's on one token, people say that, people can't find love. There's a male loneliness epidemic or whatever. But I'm saying, no, people are getting to the point where they're willing to walk down the aisle and commit to each other for the rest of their lives. By the time that wedding's rolled around, I know that couple for 2 years. People take about 2 years to plan a wedding.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with them if they stay together or not. It has
because
nothing to
we
do
stay
with
in
that.
touch.
Well, so this would be like someone saying that car accidents are down 80%. And then I say, well, I'm an insurance claim adjuster and I see car accidents every day.
Yeah.
It's like, we know that marriage is way down. And we
But I
know
think-
that like people not even being in relationships and especially not having children is way down, especially when we look at like the people that make up the like citizens of the West and not like people that are being imported into the West to fix our birth rate problem.
Yeah, I think people are still getting married. I think, yes, it looks like women are initiating all these divorces, but we're now at a time where we can survive outside of a marriage, and men tend to treat women like monkey bars. They don't let go of the last one till they found someone else. So they're more likely to stay married but have somebody else on the go till they know the next person's a safe bet. Whereas a woman, if she's not happy, she'll leave and then move on. And I think that's
None of that is
what
supported by
happens.
any data, no science backing whatsoever, no studies, no Evo Psych. All of what you just said is a female thing. The idea of monkey branching and leveling up and hypergamy is specifically and is exclusively on the female end. None of what you just said
do you
has
mean?
any backing whatsoever in any sort of biology or science, because that's what women are doing. They're programmed to do so, and it's their natural hardwiring to do so.
Are you a woman?
What relevance is it if I am or not?
Because then you don't know.
Are you a cat?
Well, I'll never claim to know what a cat thinks.
Do you
Because
have a
no.
dog? Are you a child? Are
I'm
you
not a
5
child,
years
but
old?
I think your friend next to you wants to treat women like his wives like children.
Are you 5 years old? If you're not 5 years old, how do you know anything about how a 5-year-old acts or thinks?
I've been 5.
How 50 years ago?
I have had a 5-year-old.
You've never been 5,
child
but you've
as well.
never been 5 years old in 2026. So your frame of reference is not similar or the same in any way, shape, or form. You didn't have the internet when you were 5 years old.
Oh,
You didn't have
don't
Netflix.
Don't age shame.
No, what I'm
Don't get
saying is like,
ageist.
what I'm saying is
No,
that doesn't
I
make
mean,
sense to sit
this
here and
is
say
what
I'm not a
what-
woman because
It
and so
does
I can't
make sense
understand women.
because
No, it really
I'm-
doesn't, because it's a very stupid
I'm-
argument. I can read
it's
about
not-
dogs, I
can
can
I
read about
finish?
monkeys, I can read about science, I can read about Evo Psych, I can read about biology, and we can pay attention and we can open our eyes and go through the world and see
But
these
you
things
won't-
unfolding in real
you
time.
won't fully know, just like I don't know how it is.
I
to be
won't
of a
fully
different
know,
race,
Francesca. What will I not fully know?
because you don't listen. I don't know what it's like to be a different race. I've never walked in those shoes.
I agree.
You know, my brother-in-law is Jamaican heritage. I know that when I go out, he is having a different world experience to me.
Correct.
Okay, but I am not going to claim that I know exactly what that feels like. I can only listen to what he says and trust him and say, that is the world according to your
Francesca,
experiences.
if I were
So
to
as a
say that
woman, when we
dogs,
say
if I were to
this
say
is the
that
world
dogs are
according to
motivated,
us, then
if I were to
all you
say
can do
that,
is listen, because you'll never be us. You'll never grow a baby. You'll never give birth. You'll never know what it's like to do that side of it. So all you can do is listen and learn. And that is how society is going to get better, is when we're learning from each other, not telling us what we are and what we're not.
if I were to
Right?
say dogs are motivated by rewards like food and encouragement and shelter, and you said, well, you don't know that because you're not a dog, do you think that
So
would be
women
a
are
smart
dogs.
assertion to make?
You're comparing us to dogs.
I knew we were going to get that one. No, but I mean,
You walked
it is
into
kind
that
of
one.
crazy,
No, I'm
right?
actually not.
Like,
No, like
You walked
I'm
into
actually
that one.
not. No,
All you
no,
can do
that's
is,
that. No, I didn't. I
is
didn't compare women to
listen.
dogs. I'm using as an example. I'm using it as an example, Francesca. Like
You don't know the world through our eyes. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not
And I don't
saying that
claim to know
I'm
the
not
world
saying that I
through.
did. I'm saying we know what we can study human behavior about men and women, just like we can study the behavior of any animal on the planet, like dogs, like whales, like cats, like
But we're
cheetahs,
not
like
just
monkeys.
animals, are we?
We are just animals. We
We have a
absolutely are.
conscience. We have a conscience. We know right and wrong.
That
We
doesn't make us
evolve.
not animals.
We evolve.
And right, so do animals. So do monkeys. Chimpanzees have evolved.
So, Francesca, I want to ask you, who do you think is better equipped to give valuable advice to a pregnant woman? A woman that's had 2 babies, or a doctor that has treated thousands of pregnant women who happens to be a man?
It
I would think this
depends.
would be a pretty quick answer.
No,
Like I know
it
where I'm getting
depends.
my advice from.
It depends on the doctor, but I think women giving each other advice is so valuable. And
I don't
advice through
disagree.
experience. Like some of the things I really, really thought I knew about being a mum or being married or being in my 40s, I thought I knew. I didn't know till I got there. You don't know how hard something is till you're in it. You know, you don't know how rough the sea is till you're like actually on the waves. So I have had children. I'm raising children. I'm still married. We're in a very loving marriage. So all I can do is speak from experience, and what the journey has been like for me. My whole mission in life is to be like, hey, I'm at this stage of my life. All I can tell you is how it feels, what I did. Let's help each other out, and not like tell people what they should and shouldn't be doing, because you've got trusting your own instincts is so important. And how I raise my kids will be different to how all of you guys raise your kids. But when you're motivated by love, kindness, empathy, when you treat your partner as your friend and someone you actually care about, not just someone who's like a baby machine or someone who elevates you up the corporate ladder, where's the love in all of that? Where's the
See,
friendship in all of that?
I don't view my lovely women as baby machines. And I hope they don't view me as like a butler or a paycheck or a bank account. Like to me, that's very bizarre, this idea.
Yeah.
Like I don't know where women get this idea when a man says, like, oh, I wish that my woman would quit her job and stay home and raise the children or have more children. That women are like, oh, what are we, just baby machines? We're just incubators. I'm like, yo, where did this come from?
Because some women really enjoy and get good satisfaction out of working. They love it just as much as a man might love doing property or crypto or whatever. A lot of women do. Like, if it wasn't for some single women in history, you wouldn't even have bulletproof vests. You know, you wouldn't have Wi-Fi without a woman. You wouldn't even be on this phone.
Yeah, I don't know about that. At least we know that the houses that were built, the office buildings that were built, all of the drinking water that was brought there, all of the food that was brought there that allowed these women to make the inventions, men were dying to do that.
But for me, when you elevate women, it's not to put down men. And I don't know why you view it like that.
No, I
'Cause
just think
it's-
we have an issue with birth rates.
Well, actually, the world is overpopulated.
No.
There's too many of us, man.
Well,
Mother
there's a lot
Nature
of
knows.
people that think that, and all of the people of that mindset will be gone in a generation. And then it'll just be me and all the people that have a bunch of kids.
Well, Mother Nature knows what she's doing. Did you know that after wars, more baby boys are born to balance out? It's cool, isn't it? So if you think of the world like one living thing, it will always do what's best to survive.
It's not. That's not a thing. The world is not a living, breathing thing. It's not.
We're on,
Yes, it's
we're
a
on
rock.
Avatar. We're on the
It's a
Avatar.
rock that
Avatar.
we just live on. Like, what are we?
Yeah, I think
are we-
it's pretty cool. That's nature.
TC, what would you do if like they wanted to go back to work, or if they wanted to work part-time? Like, would you respect what they wanted, or would you be like, no, I kind of want you to hold the fort down with the kids? Like, how would you respond to that as the man?
I think most women, like, they're going to work is to make ends meet, right? Like, most women are doing a job they don't love, right? And it's like so they can make money. So, for example, like if I have 10 kids in diapers, right?
Mhm.
No one's going back to work yet, right?
Sure.
If it really was a huge point of contention, that's something I'd consider hiring an au pair. They're pretty cheap, especially if I have a child that has like a serious disability or something, right, that needs like full-time care. But I'd much rather ask one of my, and they will be my wives, like this is what I refer to more than one of them essentially already as. Like, what is it that you want to do, right? So like, maybe one of them really likes animals and she wants to start a shelter, right? Cool. Like this is something we can do down the street from the property, like in the little town we live in, we can start an animal shelter and you can deal with that. But if running the animal shelter starts interfering with the family, I'm going to hire someone to help out at the animal shelter so that she can focus more back at the house. But I think women can do a lot of volunteering that kind of scratches this itch for making a difference in the world around them. Because like a lot of people say like women can have jobs now finally. Like women have always worked, always, forever. Just like they haven't been working for a corporate overlord. They've been like serving their family and people in the community, right?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because you also want them to do what brings them joy and fulfillment. Maybe that's outside of the home, like with animals, for example. And
well, what I definitely don't want is that like their sense of entertainment and fulfillment like is all centered around me. Like they need to have female friends. They like hopefully I'll be able to find I'm looking for land right now, but hopefully I'll be able to find some land that's near like some Amish or some other homesteaders or like some Christians or something where like there's a little community here of like-minded people already that we can kind of integrate into. Yeah, this is something that in modern relationships where you have like this partner vibe, I think is like, it's rough where you become like attached, you become like fused and dependent on each other much more than like women and men that are actually in like previously dependent on each other, women dependent on men to provide, men dependent on women to raise the children. Like the modern day partners are like more fused than those men and women were, I think.
like to an unhealthy degree. Like
yeah, and we see this a lot where there's so many, and I think this is one of the reasons we have so many soft, weak, especially like boomer age men. So many of them, like their wife is their friend, is like that's their best friend. They don't go anywhere without her, and I think this is it's just harmful for men being leaders and being masculine.
You're just saying stuff to say the opposite to me.
No.
I think you are now at this point.
I don't think men and women are friends at all. I don't even think men and women that are in relationships are friends. Like if a woman that's she wants to get in a relationship with me and she's like, you're my best friend, I'm like, cool. Like TC's my best friend. So Like, it's not my girl, right? Like, that's my woman. That's my girl. I don't sleep with my friends. Like, I have friends and then I have my woman, or I have the woman that I'm dating or women that I'm dating. But like, yeah, I totally agree. Like, I think this whole, like, that's where the happy wife, happy life, like pedestalizing, oh, she's my BFF, my best friend. I think it makes men weak. And I think that's part of the problem with a lot of men, is that men are now fulfilling the roles of like a second mother instead of fulfilling the role of a father. Like, men have gone off to conquer, and they've gone off to go on trips and journeys and war, and they've gone and disappeared for weeks to months at a time. It's always been something men have done. And now it's like, you got these men that are fighting for paternity leave and they want to be stay-at-home dads. It's like, women were just saying 2 hours ago, like, oh, I don't want to run into a dude that's a stay-at-home dad. But when I say, oh, well, a guy doesn't really need to be around for the first 4 years, it's like, arrest this man. So like that, it is what it is. Like, men that spend too much time around their women and children become soft. They become betatized, and you can't lead a family unit in a household if you're soft, and if the majority of your time you're spending around women and children, you're going to be the average of that. Men need to be around other men that are doing shit, that are conquering, that are out there doing shit and putting their dent in the world.
Yeah, so I actually have a lot of conversations with, as you ladies can imagine, I have to like run through, but I have to communicate with and essentially like start the vetting process for an enormous amount of women, because not that many women are into this idea, right? So I talk to a ton of women that have 2 or 3 girlfriends that the dad is not around, right? They have 3 kids. They're a single mom. It's a deadbeat dad. So like, this woman is like helping her friend watch her kids all the time, right? And it's like a huge hassle. And I'm like, well, instead of that, why not like both of y'all come to my house and then like everything's cool. Like, I'll take care of both of you and you don't have to work.
Has that worked for you? Like, did that conversation go over well? Like, when you brought that up with them?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of women are like, so it's based, this is what Sister Wives is, right? It's like, you have 2 girlfriends that you're really close with, and like all 3 of you are single moms, and there's like one dude that's like, I'll take care of all y'all, don't worry, right? That's essentially kind of what it's like, right? But like, minus their single moms first part is obviously better. I don't need baby daddy drama in my life. But yeah, like, women get this, but then there's like this knee jerk at the end. They're like, oh shit, like, that makes a lot of sense. Like, her kids are basically like my kids. Like, they call me auntie. And if we, like, I've talked to women that are roommates, like, they have kids, dad's not around. They have a female roommate that has kids, dad's not around. They're both working 2 jobs, like struggling. Like, one has 2 kids, one has 3 kids. And I'm like, we don't have to have this. Like, this doesn't have to exist. And so I explain this, right? And they're like, man, that actually would be really good. And they're like, oh, but I just don't think I could share my man. And I'm like, there it is. There it is. We could solve all the problems, but there's this thing back there, right?
Oh, I couldn't do that. I would be curious, like, if modeling this for your kids, this lifestyle, if it would like promote promiscuity in them, right? Because you aren't.
How do you think that would?
Well, if you are your model, right, you're the head of the family, but you are with multiple people. I would just be curious if, like, as they grow up into an adult, would they seek the same thing you are living rather than a monogamous relationship? Because it's like, in their mind, isn't that normal what you're doing? And it would be hard for them. Maybe they would be promiscuous because, again, you've modeled that for them for their whole life.
Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, we go back essentially like 100 years with this intersexual dynamics. So like, in a perfect world, my children, like my sons, can go off and find a wife that is a chaste, good woman and have a bunch of children with her. And they're both young and get married as virgins. And then my daughters can live at home, like, while they look for their husband. And I veto all the dickheads, right, that aren't going to do their job. Like that's the perfect world, right? But can we get back there by the time my children are ready to get married? I doubt it. So we'll see what happens. But I wouldn't be telling like my 19-year-old son, go have 3 girlfriends. I'm going to be telling him what I wish my dad told me when I was 19, when I had 3 girlfriends, and is stop talking to girls and go build a fucking business.
Okay, no, that's a good, I think, like, good advice and makes sense too.
And airing on.
So yeah, if my son's 30 and he's a millionaire and he wants to have 15 kids, sure, I'll teach you the good and bad and the ugly about going down this route. And I've gotten this question from women, right? Like, would you want your daughters to be a woman in this situation? Yeah. And my answer is usually like, if they're 19 and virgins, probably not, right? But if they like went out, got a degree, got a career, racked up a huge notch count, racked up a bunch of baggage, and then like they came back to live with me, and now I'm responsible for them again. And they're like, this guy wants to date me, and he has like a family like you and mom and aunties had. I'd be like, go. Grab onto him and don't fucking let go.
You should come to Utah. We have a lot of families like that here, actually.
Yeah, the magic underwear, man, is just...
I know, it's something else.
Mormons are cool, but I just don't agree with everything they believe in.
Sure.
Same thing with Muslims. I think Muslims are super cool, but I just don't agree with everything they believe in.
Sure.
Like what, so? Like what? I mean, we agree with the 4
Well,
wives.
for example, what you said, right? Where you have to treat them or love them all equally, like and like it depends on how you define love, right? Like my definition of love is the willingness to sacrifice for someone else. So like, yes, a man should sacrifice essentially equally for all of his wives, but like you're not going to treat them the same, right? Like hopefully you get to treat them the same, but like you must correct bad behavior. This is a man's job. This is a man's job with the women he's with and with his children.
How can you correct when you're at work all the time?
It's a good question.
You said
I mean,
how to spend time with your children.
So how can I correct if I'm at work all the time? So should I stay home and not work? Right? Like what's the answer? Like there's a balance there, right?
Maybe be home at bedtime or on a weekend.
Yeah, I mean
is that not masculine? Is that how?
No,
I don't understand that part.
It's fine. There's no issue. Is
it not masculine to love?
No, there's no issue with that. Like, there's no issue with sacrificing for your women and children.
But love.
Yeah, that's what I think love is.
Working.
No, it's sacrificing for the betterment of your women and children, whatever it might be. There's lots of sacrifices that need to be made.
I don't understand.
I just feel like life is so unpredictable, and like, yes, ideally, like it would be amazing for you to like raise all of these 10 kids and like get them married and see their grandkids, but the possibility of that.
Well, I mean, you could go get in a car crash and die, right? You're not going to get in your car.
Exactly, but like to raise them until they get to the point that they learn the purpose of like your decision and story and like go from there. Just I don't know. It's like I've never heard that.
Like for most of human history, this is how the family structures worked. Like only 40% of men for all of human history had children, and 99% of women did. So that means there were, for all of human history, 2.4 women per man. And now what that looked like a lot of times was like, there's a king that has 500, right? And then there's like a lord that has 10. And then there's like all the men that go die in war and have none. And then there's like your peasant that has 1 wife. And then like the guy, the captain in the guard has 2. So like, this is how we've always operated. Like,
Yeah, and why do you think
women
that
are
changed?
engaged in polygyny openly with men in the West, but don't get commitment.
I mean, slavery was around as well. Should that still be okay?
See, I think that this is
Just
kind
because
of
it was
like,
back then doesn't mean it was right.
what is also going on with modern dating. As we try to navigate it, it's hard for men to be constantly undermined by women when he's already told us, literally, I think I asked this question like over 30 minutes ago, that he's already spoken to his trusted mentors about this, and this is his specific vision. And here we are still challenging him. Like, women are not here to challenge him.
I love talking to women about it because it helps me better navigate talking to women about it. This is the masculine duty, right? Like, I must be berated so I can figure out how your brains work to be able to better sell what I'm selling,
Right.
Better manipulate.
That's fine then. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And I would love to hear from Moff as well.
On what? What's the question?
On the love vision.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
Like here, like
Love
how
vision
you
board.
would really like to see your future going as far as like mission, purpose, and then if wife and kids are part of that.
I mean, definitely not wife. Yeah, super want to have kids. Mission and purpose is doing what I do now, which is continuing to build a group and a network for guys that are tired of the pussification and the feminization of the world and the society that we live in, that are tired of being told that what a man should be is basically the carbon copy of a woman, just, you know, everything that a woman is except with a dick, and that are just not listening to any of this BS anymore, and that understand that men need a tribe and men need a group of guys that they need to get together. And I'm bringing those guys together and giving them great experiences to get better and to learn from one another and really build a really solid group. So yeah, as long as a woman is along for the ride and understands exactly what she's getting herself into, yeah, no problem, no harm to found. I'm more power to him. Like, it's not something that I would do, not because I don't think it's wrong, not because I don't think I think it's immoral. That's just, you know, not something that I would do for myself. Like, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I fully support him, and I think he's a freaking pioneer and a visionary. But yeah, plan to have kids, like build a legacy, all that good stuff. Run father-son trips with the guys as the group of friends we have, start popping out kids. Yeah, that's the long-term vision. But it's nothing. I'm glad you started. Like, I wish you had started with me first, because I don't have much of an answer compared to my friend here. But yeah, a little more traditional and normal, but certainly not getting the state involved with any of my affairs or personal relationships at all.
Thank you for sharing.
You said no marriage?
Not legally, no. Not
Is
as
that
recognized by the state.
government, or just like
Okay. I don't want the government involved in any of my affairs whatsoever. Like, what I do is not the government's business. Any private affairs or any private relationships I have, there's no reason the government needs to be involved in that whatsoever. And there's no reason that I need to sign a piece of paper that, like we said before, is going to allow this entity to tell me what happens to my money or my children, my access to them or my property or anything like that. So no, I would never legally sign into a marriage.
Okay. I have a question, but I don't want anyone to be offended, because I'm generally asking it from a good place and heart. Are you religious or no?
Me?
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Okay, then never mind. Because in Islam, for us, like, you're like a child without marriage is like, it's not a thing. Yeah, that's why, like, you're supposed to like wait until marriage, and when you marry, and then like you can have kids and etc.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends if you think it's a revealed truth or if you think it's a mechanism used for control. I think it's the latter.
Faith?
Religion in general.
That's another topic for another day.
I agree.
Because we could go for hours about that.
I agree. All right. let's put a wrap on this thing. Ladies, I appreciate it. We went a little longer than we normally do, but you guys all stayed up. You stayed awake. Shout out to Francesca. I know it's a lot late for where you are. I think it's early in the morning. Yeah, but you're a good sport. You know, I think, you know, we had some back and forth, but that's what makes these conversations fun. I know Spencer had lost power, so he got his internet knocked out. And then obviously the ladies had to go a little bit early, which is okay because 7 or 8 of you is a ton. Like 3 is one thing, right? Like 8 of you, I don't know. It's like a full-time job wrangling everybody. So guys, we're back here every single Monday. We're going to be back here same time next week, 8 p.m. We're going to continue to do this show, the format. We're going to continue iterating it, trying to make it as good as we can for you guys. If you have comments, if you have suggestions, drop them down below. And like I said, man, like we're not going to be paying attention, and we're not going to be allowing for this BS going on in the comments. Like, this ain't the channel for that. If you guys want to yell at women and you want to complain that women are XYZ and they're ABC, like, go do that shit somewhere else, because it's not going to be here. So ladies, again, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and hop off here. Get with Spencer again if you want to, you know, keep staying the rotation. We're always looking for repeat guests that want to come on and have a dialogue, and we'll try to keep things a little more on the dating and relationships side of the tracks, but you never know where a conversation is going to go. So everybody have a great evening, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.